Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Colton Emsweiler, and welcome to the WXOW and WQOW pregame show. Over the next half hour, we'll get you ready for the 90th all-time meeting between UW-La Crosse and UW-Eau Claire. First off, let's take a look at the WIAC standings. The Eagles come into this one flying high, a perfect conference record highlighted by ending a 19-game losing streak to Whitewater 3 weeks ago. The Warhawks and River Falls are lurking, however, ready to pounce at a shared or possibly outright title if La Crosse doesn't win out. UW-Eau Claire, meanwhile, has opened the year 2-5 overall under new head coach Rob Erickson. Their lone WIAC win so far coming against Stevens Point, 24-17. And those victories are generating a lot of praise for La Crosse. Currently, the Eagles sit at 4th in the nation and are the highest ranked one-loss team in Division III. Sitting at the top is North Central in Illinois, who received all 25 first-place votes. Wartburg is 3rd, they being the team who eliminated UW-Well in the playoffs a year ago, and you can see Whitewater is narrowly behind them at 5th. Expanding a bit to the top 10, you can see River Falls is 7th. The Eagles will visit the Falcons next Saturday with at least a share of the WIAC title on the line. UW-Oshkosh also received votes. La Crosse is aware of the noise surrounding their success and are taking it in stride.
At least for me, I don't really see any rivalries among the WIAC. I think we all play each other pretty tough. We're going after a conference championship, so whoever we play on Saturdays is just another opponent standing in the way of that. So they're going to get our best shot. We're going to get their best shot. So we'll see how it plays out.
We thought the biggest thing is we just need to keep improving as a football program. And we got to be able to take the lessons from Saturdays and apply them moving forward. We got to continuously grow with our special teams. We got to get more and more comfortable with our base schemes as we get to now. You get to that point in the season where you look at defense and offense and with your base coverage and our base plays on offense, like you're getting close to, especially on the defense side of the ball, 1,000 reps.
It's a year of transition for the Blue Golds. In comes, my mistake, UW-Well, meanwhile. Resilient's a great word to describe them so far this season. After dropping their home opener to 6th-ranked Hardin-Simmons, UW-Well has done nothing but win. It's a bunch of wild and close games. Of their 4 WIAC contests, stout is the blowout. It was decided by just 5 points. Week by week, they've improved as players and as a team, and now they have the conference right where they want it.
I think there's a lot of stuff that I've learned throughout the year and gotten better at. Obviously, it always can work to improve my game each and every week, but yeah, sitting atop the conference right now, I think our team is performing exactly how we thought we would.
We had the one slip up in week 2, but I think we've learned a lot from that, and I think that's kind of a good experience for a team like us to go through, because I think you have to learn how to win by losing, and I think, like I said, that was a good thing for us to have early in the season.
And now we're talking about the Blue Golds. It is a year of transition for the program. In comes new head coach Rob Erickson, who spent last year as an assistant with FCS champion South Dakota State. He does have WIAC coaching experience and is a Platteville alum, so he knows the conference well. The team does sit at 2-5 so far this year, matching their 2022 win total. The program hasn't had a winning record since 2009, but you can see the effort on the field this fall, and the small steps are being taken to turn things around.
We're a very gritty team, and yeah, I mean, we just got to continue to get better. We got to continue to improve. We got a lot of young guys, a lot of things to look forward to. So just about every day improving.
You got pride. You wear that blue gold jersey. It represents not only yourself, but the family that we are currently, but also all the alumni in this university for over 100 years. And so you owe it the obligation to give it everything you got. And our kids have bought into that, and they know this is bigger than them, and they're going to give everything they can to the university and represent themselves and this team in a positive manner. And there is no other option.
And basically none of the players have seen the Eagles lose or Blue Golds win this matchup during their careers, but that doesn't make this rivalry any less important to either side.
I mean, they got a quarterback who's been there for a little bit. They got some really good skill players, and I know they're going to play hard on defense. This is one of those ones where we got to show up and play for sure.
It's going to be a fun game. I think, they're obviously really well coached, and they've got some really, really good players. And yeah, they're going to do it with what they're going to do. And, we're just going to be ready for a physical game.
I think they're very sound in their scheme. They know what they want to do, and they're very good at executing those coverages, those fronts, those slants.
It matters to both sides, that is for sure. We need to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll go live from Herring Stadium to let you know which players to keep an eye out for. Stay with us. Welcome back to our special pregame coverage ahead of UW-Eau Claire and La Crosse vying for bragging rights and then some. There's a lot of new things for both programs, but the guys calling the game are mainstays here in Western Wisconsin. We now go live to the experts. Nick Tabbert and Scott Emmerich are at Roger Herring Stadium, getting ready for what's sure to be a few hours of great football here on ABC.
Hey, Colton, thanks very much. I tell you what, we got the first real cool nip in the air for this fall season, but we're excited to bring you today's game between UW-Eau Claire and La Crosse. You know, Nick, these two programs are kind of in different spots right now. Let's talk about the Blue Golds first under first-year head coach Rob Erickson. Kind of a transition year for him, isn't it?
For sure, and I think they understand they can't become WIAC contenders in 1 year. I think they'd like to follow the path that the Eagles have, though, and slowly get to this point. The kids on the field playing really hard. The future looks bright with recruiting classes and campus updates. UW-Eau Claire would love to be able to run the ball today. They've struggled all season in that category. Can Ivan Rubel pop a couple of runs? Explosive plays will be key. If not, Isaac Garside will need to have a huge game. Both teams know this is the Blue Golds' best offensive weapon. He caught his first 2 touchdowns of the season last week. Can he break free for a big game today? Defensively, Eau Claire has been better than UW at stopping the run. They're second in the league in sacks. They need to pressure Kaiser Helterbrand today, keep him in the pocket. No big runs. Keys to the game: contain Kaiser, stay ahead of the chains on offense, no third and long or obvious pass situations, play with consistent energy. They were too high right away and then too low against Platteville last week.
As for La Crosse, on the other hand, they are led by head coach Matt Janis in his 3rd year as the head coach, sitting on top of the WIAC right now with a 4-0 record in conference play. They're ranked 4th in the nation by D3Football.com, and their offense is absolutely explosive. You heard Nick talk about Kaiser Helterbrand, one of the most versatile players in the league. The senior from Hudson has completed 67% of his passes. He has 14 touchdown passes to just 4 interceptions. Now, Helterbrand is also a tremendous runner. In fact, he's 4th in the league in rushing yards as a quarterback with 6 touchdowns. Helterbrand has also lined up as a running back a few times this season when they bring in Zach Weir at quarterback. When he's throwing it, there's a good chance Jack Studer is on the other end. Studer leads UWL in receptions with 37. He leads the conference in receiving yards with 864. Studer has been a big play machine, averaging 23 yards a catch and an unheard of 123 receiving yards a game. Studer is a junior from Iota, Minnesota. Now, defensively, the Eagles kind of rank in the middle of the pack in many categories. They're not really a big play defense, Nick. They just kind of come up with big plays at the right time. And I guess if I would talk about keys to the game for UW-La Crosse is don't get caught looking ahead. You got that big game with River Falls next week. And I'm going to give you some coach speak here, too. Limit the penalties for UW-La Crosse. They are one of the most penalized teams in the league. And turnovers, of course. Don't allow Eau Claire to stay in this game with turnovers. What would you say the keys for Eau Claire?
This game's going to be won on the offensive line, defensive line, that battle. UWL has some big guys up front, physical, right? It's hard to knock them off balance. Eau Claire needs to get pressure. Who's going to win that battle on the offensive, defensive line today?
All right, we've set the table for you, Colton, and we'll send it back up now to the studio while we go upstairs to the broadcast booth.
All right, thank you, Nick. Thank you, Scott. Can't wait to hear you both call the game. Truly 2 of the best in the business. Now, when we return, we go game by game to see how both clubs ended up where they are as the season enters the back 9. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our special pregame coverage. La Crosse and Eau Claire are warming up as we speak. But for now, let's take a look back to see how the Eagles got off to their best start to a season in years. For the 2nd straight year, the Eagles opened up with a win against NAIA Dakota State. After that was a bit of a slip-up, a 28-21 home loss to Hardin-Simmons. The Texas school was ranked 6th at the time, and that may have been the wake-up call La Crosse needed ahead of WIAC play.
We made it clear we don't want to share anything with anybody. I think you have to approach every team the same way. I mean, there's a lot of really good players and a lot of good talent in this league, and you know, if you don't bring your A game every week, somebody can beat you for sure.
And their A game has been on display ever since. After clobbering Division II Northern Michigan, they opened up the conference schedule with a high-scoring win over Stout. But that was just the warm-up before their biggest test yet, at Whitewater. After 60 grueling minutes, the Eagles ended their long drought against the Warhawks on a last-second field goal.
It was a great experience. I mean, 19 years straight losing to them. It was definitely something we wanted to end. Some of our coaches had never even experienced beating Whitewater before. So, I mean, to get that win on the road in that environment, it was definitely a special moment for us and the team.
But things didn't get easier after that. Next up came Platteville, which is head coach Matt Janis's alma mater. Thanks to a second-half touchdown, the team managed to win 21-17. That was followed by an even closer victory over Oshkosh last week. But looking ahead, their focus beyond the Blue Golds is clear.
Obviously, our goal is a national championship. I don't think if you talk to a single guy on this team, they don't think that we can do it. I think that we all believe that we have the skill, the roster, the coaching to go make that happen.
Meanwhile, UW-Eau Claire enters today's game on a 3-game losing streak, currently 2-5. But as Nick Tabbert shows us, the season started with much more promise.
The Rob Erickson era officially started in September with a dramatic win at Carson Park. Dan Zuli's 33-yard field goal in the final seconds lifted the Blue Golds to a 31-28 win over Concordia Moorhead, a special moment for the new staff.
Feels great. I mean, honestly, it feels awesome. But really the joy goes to the kids, you know, just hanging out with them in the locker room afterwards and watching the joy, the pure joy on their face is what this is all about.
The next 2 weeks were disappointing. UW-EC was blown out by Coe College, then blanked at home by Bethel University, leaving the Blue Golds at 1-2 entering WIAC play. The Blue Golds rallied back at UW-Stevens Point, earning a 24-17 win and evening their record. Homecoming weekend saw a packed Carson Park for a showdown with number 5 UW River Falls. The Blue Golds kept the game close early, but the Falcons had too much firepower on offense and defense. Scoring 49 points, the Blue Golds lost 49-7. A week later, the Blue Golds once again fell behind early at UW-Oshkosh. Hayden Goodman caught a touchdown pass, but the Blue Golds fell 35-7 and to 2-4 overall. Last week, UW-EC had a perfect start, recovering an onside kick to open the game. Then Harry Rubidoux connected with Isaac Garside twice for touchdowns, and the Blue Golds led 14-0 in the first quarter. By halftime, though, the Pioneers had taken control. UW-Eau Claire could not turn the momentum back in its favor and lost 47-14. That leaves UW-EC 2-5 entering today's game. The Blue Golds have not won at UW-La Crosse since 2013.
We can't wait to see how both squads finish these last 3 weeks. We need to take another break, but afterwards we go one-on-one with a coach who's the new guy in town, as well as another that's been doing it longer than most people have been alive. Back in a flash. We're only about 15 minutes away from kickoff, but over the last 50 years and then some, one guy has seen it all in this rivalry. We sat down with UWL assistant Mike Anderson to see what's motivated him over a lengthy coaching career. People bounce around over a 50-year career, and UWL's Mike Anderson is no different. A native of Mondovi, he's been many places while not going too far away as he moved up the coaching ranks.
I had 21 years of coaching high school football at Menominee and La Crosse Central. And then Coach Herring asked me to come over here and join his staff in 1995.
And having coached both teenagers and young men, he's seen what the biggest difference is between the two.
You're kind of dealt your cards. What kids want to come out and play football in high school, and we had a great group of kids there at La Crosse Central. But coming over here to the college level, these are guys that, hey, I want to continue to play. Football is extremely important to me.
But even 50 years in, game day never gets old for Coach A.
Well, the big thing is working with the kids and the coaches. I can't describe what the feeling is like in the locker room before the game.
Anderson's impact on both his boss and subordinates is something that can't be measured.
He's just everything to this place, to me. It's just really special to have his guidance and to lean on his expertise throughout my coaching career here, but especially over the last really 3 years since I've been the head coach.
We say it all the time, if you cut Coach A open, he'll bleed Eagles. The man he's dedicated his life to Eagle football. Each and every day I take something away from what he says. So, I mean, he's a huge part of this program.
But the biggest plot twist in Coach A's story is where he played his college ball.
Went to UW-Eau Claire, so this is a big week for me. You know, we're playing the old alma mater, so it's always a tough game, and so we're getting our kids ready to go.
Anderson was honored for his historic coaching tenure during the Eagles' home opener, the aptly named Coach A Day. You can actually listen to our full interview with him by finding this story on WXOW.com under the Sports tab. And on the other sideline today, it's essentially an entirely new staff led by Rob Erickson. The first-year head coach says he has an obligation to build a respectable football program for UW-Eau Claire. News 18 sports director Nick Tapper went one-on-one with Coach Erickson from inside the Blue Gold's newest building, the Sonnentag Fieldhouse.
Let's start with this building. It's been a few months for you. This is my first time seeing this. This is incredible.
This building is phenomenal. It's jaw-dropping every time you see it. I mean, you walk in, you're like, man, this thing is huge. It's got everything you want, everything you need, and more. It's a game changer for our university. It's a game changer for our football program. Yeah, this place is pretty special.
And you'll be in here by spring ball.
That's the hope, yes. Well, the plan is, yes, the whole facility we're looking at maybe end of May.
What are you telling recruits about this space and Simpson Field?
That the future is extremely bright at Eau Claire. You know, the facilities are going to be the best in the country. Everything that a kid thinks about with athletics, the luxuries that come with it, this has exceeded those expectations.
You have such deep roots in the WIAC as a player and a coach. You know a lot of the guys on the opposite sideline.
Yeah, there's not a guy, not a head coach in the league that I have not had long personal conversations with at some point throughout the journey. We're talking on the phone on a Friday and on a Wednesday and catching up, and unless we're playing that week, then we kind of go silent. So Matt and I go way back. So I got hired at Platteville in 2007, and that was his senior year. And he was an outside linebacker for us. And I could tell instantly when I met him that spring that he loved the game of football. I was actually a reader at his wedding, and you know, that was pretty cool. He asked,
"What have you learned about being a Blue Gold?"
We love the band. We love athletics. We love what our academics have done to set kids up for success. We love our arts and our theater. I mean, there's just such a buzz, and it's fun just kind of shopping. You can window shop and just kind of see people. I mean, nobody's hermits. Nobody sits around and just does nothing. I mean, everybody's active. It's such an active community, and what a great place to raise a family. What a great place to go to college. It's one of the best places I've ever been.
And Erickson is a grinder. It's common for him to spend 100 hours in the office each week as he tries to turn the Blue Gold's program around. And his staff does have one holdover from the previous regime, that being offensive line coach Michael McHugh, now in his 8th season with Eau Claire. We need to take one final break, but on the other side, we take a look back at how last year's game played out and get a final word from both Coach Erickson and Coach Janis ahead of today's matchup. Don't go anywhere. The countdown is on as kickoff between the Blue Golds and Eagles is almost here. But before turning over to this newest chapter, let's take a quick look back at last year's game. Fireworks were raining down on a mid-October afternoon. La Crosse jumped out to a 20-0 lead early in the second, and then it was 37-7 in the waning minutes of the third. And the result, 51-21 for La Crosse in a very high-scoring affair. Now in 2023, there's a lot of new things. That includes the leaders of one of these programs, and the longtime friends are now about to square off for the first time as coaching rivals.
I know this is a rival game, and I know that there's supposed to be hard feelings, but he's a really good friend and a guy that I can see him really growing, and he's done a tremendous job with that program. He's taken it to another level. He's bringing in great athletes. He's coaching them really well, and the kids play hard for him. So obviously, you know, he's got control of the locker room. So. Yeah, they're doing a great job, and I think the city's feeling it. Now they're winning consistently back like they were in the 80s and 90s when I was a player, and they had Baker at quarterback and winning national championships. I think they feel that same kind of intensity down there in that area, so I'm sure the community's pretty excited about it.
When we played this team on this day and on this game, it's going to be a dogfight. They're going to do some different things on offense. They're going to really challenge us. We know they're going to try to steal possession somewhere on special teams. So we know like this game right off the bat is going to be a scrappy dogfight, and we're going to get their best game here as we move forward.
And in case you were wondering, UW-Eau has won the last 5 matchups in this series by an average of 32.5 points a game. Well, that's going to do it here during our special pregame coverage. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Stay tuned as kickoff is just minutes away. It's the Blue Golds renewing their rivalry with the Eagles. And join us at halftime. We'll speak with the new leader of Blue Golds athletics, as well as get a couple of updates ahead of the Badgers' primetime matchup with Ohio State. But until then, enjoy the game, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please remain standing as we retire our colors.
And welcome to Herring Stadium in La Crosse, with Granddad Bluff serving as the backdrop and the beautiful fall colors on a late Saturday, October afternoon. So glad you could join us on WQOW 18 in Eau Claire and WXOW 19 in La Crosse. Scott Emmerich along with Nick Tabbert here, ready to bring you the 90th meeting between these two rivals. It's UW-La Crosse and UW-Eau Claire. La Crosse has won the last 5 meetings between these two schools. And Nick, this has been a rivalry that we have documented over the last 4 decades or so, and it's always kind of an interesting matchup. These two teams are in different spots, though, right now, these two programs. First-year head coach Rob Erickson at UW-Eau Claire has brought a lot of enthusiasm to the program. You had a chance to sit down with him this week. Tell me a little bit about Coach Erickson and where their program is.
Yeah, Coach Erickson, a lot of energy, right? They're saying the right things. They're doing the right things in practice, putting in a lot of hours, 100 hours a week sometimes. Coach Erickson spending in the offices, just grinding away. And he's searching for that first signature win. Boy, this would be a great time for one.
Well, it has happened before in this rivalry. I can think all the way back to 1994 when La Crosse had the playoffs at stake. They were in first place in the WIAC, and a last-place Eau Claire team came down here to La Crosse and upset the Eagles then, and that was a crushing blow to a program here at UWL and a real lifter for UW-Eau Claire. Now, La Crosse, on the other hand, similar circumstances. They come in undefeated in the WIAC, 4-0 in conference play, 6-1 overall on the season, led by third-year head coach Matt Janis. They have everything on the line here today. Conference title implications, playoff implications. They want to keep that ball rolling. They've been absolutely rolling on offense, averaging well over 30 points a game, and they do it through the air with Kaiser Helterbrand, and they do it on the ground with Kaiser Helterbrand. You're going to get a whole lot of number 2 for UW-La Crosse here today on the offensive side of the ball. So it'll be interesting to see how things shake out here. And when we take a look at the WIAC standings, Nick, and how important they are, La Crosse sitting on top. River Falls and Whitewater both right behind them at 3-1 in conference play. La Crosse owns a win over Whitewater from a few weeks ago. That was highly dramatic and very important. La Crosse will travel to River Falls next week in a matchup of a pair of top 10 teams. So it's kind of be careful territory for them, isn't it?
There's no margin for error once again in this WIAC, isn't there?
It just seems every week that it's been an absolute grind. And before the conference season started, as you get a look at some of the players making their way towards midfield right now for the coin toss, our referee is Timothy Poline. Let's see if we can listen in here on the coin toss and see who opens with the football first. All right, Evan Hung, our sideline reporter, is standing by right now, and he has some more information and the latest from both teams. Evan, go ahead.
Hey guys, great to be with you this afternoon. A little bit chilly down here at Roger Herring Stadium, about 35 degrees or so. There's some chance for flurries later on in the day, but that should not affect the game whatsoever. Some keys to the game that we mentioned in pregame for the Blue Golds are putting pressure on quarterback Kaiser Helterbrand, but they're going to be without one of their top pass rushers today. Linebacker Brady Hoffner out today with an ankle sprain, so Noah Nephew will step into his place. Isaac Runstrom will be the Mike linebacker. And Helterbrand, he's going to be without some weapons as well. Wide receiver Ryan Bartall and running back Blake Bowman also out today, and there has been some shuffling on the offensive line throughout the week as well due to injuries. So it's going to be a next man up mentality for some of the guys on both teams today. Nick and Scott.
Eagle fans, we'll get ready for the kickoff.
Thanks a lot, Evan.
Welcome, Striker.
La Crosse won the toss, selected to defer, so they will kick to start this game, and we'll see the Eau Claire offense on the field first. Our referee is Timothy Poline in this game. He'll be in charge and the arbiter of things to come here as we bring you WIAC football, the 90th meeting between these two schools. Talk about keys to the game here for Eau Claire as we get ready to see their offense come out on the field, Nick.
I think this game's going to be won along the line, the Blue Gold's offensive line. They want to run the ball desperately, but they have struggled. UWL's defense, obviously we know how good they are. and limiting. They haven't been great against the run. Let's see what Eau Claire can do right off the top. Last week against Platteville at home, they scored 14 early points in the first quarter, came out with a ton of energy, and then it kind of dropped. On the other side of the ball, UW-Eau wants to establish the run. They've created some huge holes for Kaiser and some of the other folks on the offense there. Can the Blue Golds, with that pressure, they've done a good job of pressuring the quarterback and limiting the run. Who's going to win the battle along the lines today? That's what I'm watching.
All right, Michael Stack will do the kicking for UW-La Crosse. Back deep to return for Eau Claire is Landon Tonsager. And Ivan Rubel is wearing number 22. And we are underway here at Herring Stadium. Stack kicking into the wind. Tonsager from his own 10-yard line. Looking for some room and gets dropped at the 25, and that's where the Blue Golds will scrimmage first. They are led by quarterback Harry Rubadou, 8 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's completed 53% of his passes on the season. Ivan Rubel is his running backs. The receiver, Isaac Garside, Landon Tonsager, who you just saw return that kick, and David Antoine up front. And you talked about some of the changes. They've had to shuffle a lot on the offensive line. Right to left is Adam Malloy, Noah Strauss, Jake Thompson, Michael Whitkey, and Drew Helene. The tight end is Ben Reddington. 1st and 10 Blue Golds from their own 25-yard line. That's Tonsager in motion, and they give it to Rubel right up the middle, and he finds 5 yards right away on 1st down. Let's set that La Crosse defense for you up front. They have Henry Walsh, Reese Jesko, Nate Hippis, and Jack Kelly. The linebackers are Austin Canati, Tanner Newland, and Adam Quam. The corners, Tate Pitcher and Pat Wade. The safeties, Aaron Schmitz and Brennan Goralski. On 2nd and 5, Rubel again, and this time Jack Kelly is there to meet him in the backfield for no gain, and that'll set up a 3rd and 5 situation.
I like the up-tempo approach. Blue Golds right on the ball, and I think they've had more success when they've gone hurry up this season, just from what I've been able to watch. Also, 3rd and manageable. This is a key for the Blue Golds. They've been behind the chains a lot lately. 3rd and 5 or less is where they want to live.
On 3rd down, Eagles rush 4. They're going to dump it off, and almost picked off by Ben Moore. They were trying to set up Rubel with a little running back's middle screen, and oh my goodness, I think Ben Moore had 6. Thinking about that and returning this one all the way, but instead it's an incomplete pass, so it'll be 4th and 5 and a 3 and out for the Eau Claire offense, and that'll send Dan Zulli back to punt. And back deep to return Zach Watson for UW-La Crosse.
Zulli handles the punting and the kicking for this Blue Gold squad.
A low liner that Watson's going to take from his own 23. Absolutely all Blue Golds right there. It may have been a little bit of fake punt protect for the Eagles because there were no blockers for Watson, and that's perfectly fine for the Eagles, who are led by quarterback Kaiser Helterbrand. 14 touchdown passes to just 4 interceptions. He also has 6 touchdowns rushing, and we will take a short timeout here at Herring Stadium and set things up offensively when we return. Back at Herring Stadium here, first possession for the Eagles after the Blue Golds went 3 and out. 1st and 10, UW-Eau from their own 27-yard line. And the first snap, it's Kaiser Helterbrand going to throw. Runs into some trouble and had Studer open for a moment, but he couldn't come down with it. Let's set up that UW-La Crosse offense for you. I mentioned Kaiser Helterbrand. His running back is Gabe Lynch. 3 receivers, Jack Studer, Wyatt Lemoyne, and Tyler Bowman. The tight end is Dustin Schultz. Up front, right to left, Mike Bertoya, Levi Litke, Noah Coleman, Brendan Harder, and Dane Walter is the left tackle. 2nd and 10 for the Eagles. Here is Lynch going right up the middle, and he is met by Noah Nephew right in the middle of that defense. Just a gain of 3. Here is that Eau Claire defense for you. Up front, Marcus Banks, Thomas Koyman, Malik Johnson, and Liam Enright. The linebackers, Jake Kokenauer, Noah Nephew, who you just saw, Gianni Kanalikas, and the corners are Caden Tonsinger, Peyton Erickson, the safeties, J.P. Waltersdorf, and Ryan Keekley. The conference's third leading tackler, wearing number 13, a key part of that defense. Big third down here for La Crosse from their own 30.
Blue Golds are great at generating pressure. See if they can get home.
Second in the league in sacks. Helterbrand has enough time that time. Now takes off. First down yardage across the 40, and that's Kaiser Helterbrand in a nutshell right there.
That's the danger. They only brought 3, wanted to drop back and play some pass coverage, but too many open running lanes for Kaiser. He sees that much daylight, he's going to take advantage almost every time.
That's a gain of 18 yards up to the 45-yard line. Helterbrand, as I mentioned, if you missed it in the pregame show, he is 4th in the conference in rushing yards. Not passing yards, but rushing yards from his quarterback position.
So many great quarterbacks in this league, but Helterbrand certainly has that extra advantage with being able to run the ball so well.
Lynch straight up the middle, a nice gain of 5. 2nd and 5.
So if you're the Blue Golds defense, a lot of gang tackling today. Got to take away those running lanes. One of the biggest keys Rob Erickson shared with me was take away Kaiser's ability to run. We've already been, you've already seen that they've been burned once on that.
2nd and 4 from just inside Eau Claire territory. Helterbrand by himself in the backfield. Throws over the middle. It is caught. Tyler Bowman. First down yardage. The ball comes loose and a turnover, and it's Blue Golds football. And we talked about this off the top, Nick, how Eau Claire may have to steal a couple of possessions, and they get one there. Bowman on the fumble, and it's recovered by Eau Claire.
I believe that was J.P. Waltersdorf that came out on top of it.
We'll take a timeout, and we'll be back. 11:44 to go, first quarter, no score.
Eau Claire first down at the 43.
First and 10, Blue Golds after the UW-Eau turnover from their own 43-yard line. Rubidoux dumps it off to Tonsager. Tonsager finds a gain of 7 on the play. A good first down pickup for the Eau Claire offense on 1st and 7. Here's another look at that last play.
So J.P. Waltersdorf, number 1 for the Blue Golds, able to come up with the ball, but it was stripped by his buddy Peyton Erickson, the sophomore from Chippewa Falls.
And here's a nice pass from Rubidoux to Garside, and a first down yardage, and now the Blue Golds in the Eagles territory down to the 37-yard line.
Blue Golds obviously want to run the ball today, but Isaac Garside is the guy to watch on this offense. He is their most explosive player when he can get open. Defenses have taken him away. He's also battled a hamstring injury earlier in the season. Can he explode today?
Yeah, Garside didn't play much during the non-conference portion of the season, but he still leads the team in receptions with 30 coming into this one. First down, Eau Claire. They swing it out. This is Trey Fitzgerald, who began the season as a fullback, played a little bit of H-back, and now coming out of the backfield making the reception.
If you're Eau Claire, you are feeling very comfortable with how this game has started. You're getting good yardage on first down. Obviously, the defense has already forced a turnover for you. You're in plus territory. This is just how you wanted this game to start, really, for Eau Claire.
We see Alex Jurcic now in the game at center for Eau Claire. Coach Erickson told us there'd be some shuffling along that offensive line. 2nd and 4. Handoff goes inside, and going nowhere that time is Fitzgerald. So he catches passes and runs with it, but that time no gain. That'll set up a 3rd and about 4 from the 31, and you wonder if this is 4-down territory.
Kicking game has not been great for the Blue Golds so far this season. Dan Zulli just 2 of 5, a long of 33 yards. So not really in his range quite yet. And like I mentioned earlier, 3rd and short is where the Blue Golds want to live. They've faced so many 3rd and longs. Hard to call a lot of different plays from that yardage.
Tonsager in motion. And it's Rubel. Cuts it upfield, and he has first down yardage to the 25-yard line on 3rd and 4. Rubel picks it up.
just mentioned Alex Jurczyk coming into the game at center. Nice block to open up a hole. Something that the Blue Golds have not done a ton lately. This is what they want. Get into that second level, get 4 or 5 yards of carry.
First down at 25.
This is an Eau Claire offense that only averages 14 points a game and 258 total yards a game. So any kind of jolt that they can get here early on would be huge. Here's Rubel again with room to run. I beg your pardon, that wasn't Rubel, that was Fitzgerald this time. And that was a gain of 5 on the play, maybe 6. So another good first down gain for the Blue Golds. And that goes right into what you were saying, Nick, about how they want to live on 2nd and 3rd and manageable.
2nd and 4.
Already 17 rushing yards, and this is a team that only averages about 60 a game. So perfect start.
That's Rubel in motion. Rubel going to throw, dump it out to Rubel. Wide open with some running room inside the 10-yard line, down to the 7, and it'll be 1st and goal, Eau Claire.
And that's the other wrinkle that this offense provides is even though they want to run north and south, they also want to get guys open on the perimeter. Get your playmakers the ball in space so they have a chance to maybe get some yards after catch or turn what would be a traditional running situation into a different wrinkle for the defense to have to face.
1st and goal, Eau Claire. Rubel, the lone running back next to Rubidoux. And he takes the handoff with a blocker, cuts it up, and knocked down. That's Tanner Newland coming up from his linebacker spot to make the initial hit. Joining him was Adam Quam, the team's leading tackler, wearing number 7.
Eagles about middle of the WIAC in red zone defense. Blue Golds don't want to settle for 3 here.
2nd and goal from the 6. Rubidoux going to throw, blitz coming, going to the corner of the end zone, and he overshoots Isaac Garside, and a late flag coming in. This is going to be pass interference, and that'll set up a 1st and goal again for Eau Claire. And now the referees, though, are talking about it. I wonder if they're talking about maybe if this play wasn't uncatchable or this pass.
I'm not sure he even needed to put a hand on him. He was already to the edge of the boundary there. Uncatchable ball, but pitcher put a hand on him anyway.
So they're going to stick with the pass interference call, and that'll put the ball in. Matt Janis is just furious over there on the La Crosse sideline. I mean, that pass ended up about 5 yards out of bounds, but they're going to stick with the pass interference call and call it 1st and goal at the 2-yard line for the Blue Golds.
Ivan Rubel time. He's had a lot of tough running yards so far this season. Can he get rewarded with a touchdown?
They try him up the middle, and he is stuffed. A loss of 2 on the play, and leading the way is Austin Canati, who's seen a lot more playing time in recent weeks and has really stepped up, according to Matt Janis. A loss of 2 on 1st and goal. 2nd and goal from the 4.
I'm looking for maybe some play action now on this 2nd down. Get the ball in the perimeter. And obviously you're looking for Isaac Garside. Tonsager is another option here near the goal line.
They hand off to Fitzgerald. He tries up the middle. Down to the 2, and that is it. So that'll set up a 3rd and goal. Trey Fitzgerald, active here in the early going, came into this game with 8 receptions, but actually a couple of running plays now.
Blue Golds were really good in the red zone last year when we did our broadcast. They were top of the WIAC in terms of efficiency in the red zone. 7 is huge compared to 3. I know we're early in the game, but for the Blue Golds to get out to a big lead, at least with 7 points.
Rubel up the middle, wide open, a huge hole, and a touchdown, Eau Claire, and the Blue Golds have jumped out on top. Ivan Rubel.
Rubel with the touchdown.
I think they found something on that right side, Scott. They went right with their running a lot on that drive, and here they find pay dirt.
Rubel leaping into the end zone for his second touchdown of the season. And now the Blue Goals look like they're going to go for two here. Kind of a funky little setup. Oh, nope, now they come back. And they will kick with Dan Zuli. And the extra point is up and good, and it's Eau Claire off to a 7-0 lead with just over 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
A couple years ago, Scott, Blue Golds got out to that early lead. They had the big explosive play, first drive, the tight end pass kind of snuck behind the defense, got that early score. We know how the game turned out for a UW-Eau win, but this is huge for the Blue Golds. They talk a lot about energy, playing with the right energy. And last week they got out to a 14-0 lead over Platteville. They were playing on fire, almost literally. The guys were at a 9 or a 10 on their energy scale. They needed to be back at a 5, somewhere kind of more in the middle, and they dipped. They almost burned out, I guess, last week. Let's see if they can sustain the energy. It looks really good right now, and capitalizing off turnovers is going to be huge today.
Well, when you talk about the anatomy of an upset, so far it's played out perfectly for Eau Claire. Get a turnover, drive down the field, and score. That drive, 12 plays, 57 yards. And it was Ivan Rubel from 2 yards out, and the drive beginning after a UW-La Crosse turnover, a fumble that was recovered by J.P. Walterstorff.
Eau Claire native making a big play for his Blue Golds team, and his buddy from Chippewa Falls stripped the ball. If you're the Eagles, no need to panic, right? You've trailed in games before.
Oh, they've had to come back a few times, and now Tyler Bowman will call for a fair catch on the kickoff, which will put the ball at the 25-yard line for the Eagles.
Tyler Stoltenberg with a fair catch for the Eagles.
Correction, that was Tyler Stoltenberg down there wearing number 16. Here's another look at that touchdown, Nick. What'd you see?
Like I mentioned, that right side of the line has found something against the Eagles, and that's just too big of a hole for the defense there. Rubel, one of the easier runs he's had all season.
So let's see how the Eagles respond from their own 25-yard line. They'll begin this drive. Two receivers to the far side of the field, two running backs, and the handoff is to Lynch. Lynch bounces off one defender, but then there's a host of other Blue Golds right there to make the tackle. No gain on the play.
Blue Golds doing a really nice job of rallying to the football. I think obviously we talk about Kaiser Helterbrand so much, but this offensive line has been such a strength for the Eagles. Really showed last week late in the game against Oshkosh, able to run out the clock. I'm kind of waiting for this O-line to take over.
We'll give them a yard on that play, 2nd and 9. Pressure coming on Helterbrand, spins out of it, but cannot spin away that time, and down he goes, and it's a sack for Eau Claire, and that time it was Liam Enright coming in, and the Blue Golds are showing why they're second in the WIAC in sacks.
Multiple guys in the backfield, right? And this is where the game's going to be won and lost, in my opinion, today. That dominant physical O-line of the Eagles, can they hold up against the pressure of the Blue Golds? A lot of experience on this D-line.
And so now it's 3rd and long, an unusual situation for UW-La Crosse. Helterbrand now in trouble, going to run for it. And then he gets plowed over, and he has first down yardage at the 35-yard line. He took a huge jolt, though. And Kaiser Helterbrand on 3rd and 17 picks up 18 yards and a first down.
The second run of 18 yards in this game already. Like we talked about, you can't give this guy running lanes. When he gets out in space, he is so dangerous, and he is not afraid to lower the pads. And he took on 3 Blue Golds there to get the first down.
Isaac Renstrom really brought the heat on that hit, but it was Helterbrand leaning forward for the first down, keeping the drive alive. Quick toss out to Lemoyne, and read beautifully that time by Peyton Erickson. It's a short gain of 4. Lemoyne did all he could just to hang on to that one.
And that's got to feel a little bit different today, Scott, in the cold weather versus all season long.
Oh, that first chill in the air and that first hard hit in the chill, that'll rattle some bones, Nick, that's for sure.
I'm glad I'm up here in the booth right now.
Straight up the middle. This is WIAC with his first carry of the game, and he has first down yardage up to the 48-yard line. WIAC coming into this one with 151 yards rushing and an injured Eagle on the ground right now. And we'll see who that is. It's an offensive lineman. .343 to go here in the first quarter, with Eau Claire leading this one 7-0.
Looks like they're working on maybe the hamstring or the ankle, that left side.
Yeah, La Crosse coming in here with one of the top-ranked offenses in the league. And you see Matt Janis out there. We're going to take a short timeout as well. 3:43 to go. Eau Claire leads 7-0. Yeah, watch number 76, Noah Coleman, the senior, just kind of gets his legs taken out from under him, and that is a big loss for the Eagles. He is a team captain and been a star player up front for the Eagles throughout his career. There's a little pitch and catch. Dustin Schultz on the receiving end of that one. That's a gain of about 8 yards on first down. It'll set up a second down. But Noah Coleman out, the senior center. Watson Allen now in doing the snapping for the Eagles.
And he's a freshman.
Helterbrand, little quick hitter. This is Jack Studer. He fumbles the ball. It's loose. Scooped up by Tyler Bowman, and he stumbles at the 20. Oh, a huge break that time for the Eagles. It looked like they may have lost their second fumble here in the first quarter, but a big break. Bowman actually able to advance this one.
And I thought maybe they were going to have a discussion about if he had possession or not, but clearly 3 steps taken, ball's out. What a huge break for the Eagles.
Bowman was just a whisker away from picking up that fumble and scoring. First down from the 20, blitz coming. Helterbrand stepping up in the pocket, over the middle, and knocked down, and there comes the flag. A little premature contact that time on J.P. Waltersdorf. Pass intended for Dustin Schultz over the middle. And we're going to get a pass interference call on Eau Claire. There you get a look and a hear from Timothy Poline on our referee calling the pass interference call. So that takes it down to about the 12-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 Eagles on the march after the Blue Gold scored first.
Penalties have not been a huge issue for the Blue Golds, but certainly a costly one there.
Up the middle, Lynch. Lynch off the left side, through a couple of defenders, down to the 2-yard line, near a first down. A nice gain on first down for Gabe Lynch, who's taken over the lead running back duties with Brant Bowman out with an injury.
Nice physical run. Averages about 46 yards a game, Lynch, the sophomore.
It is a gain of 10, and it is a first down, so it's 1st and goal Eagles.
Kaiser could keep this here. Otherwise, you could attack the middle of the defense. What's he going to do?
Lynch up the middle, touchdown. UWL, Gabe Lynch, his second of the year.
And that's what makes it so tough, is you know that Kaiser could pull that ball out and take it himself around the end. Your eyes have to look both ways, and nice big hole created for Lynch here. Easy walk-in touchdown.
Yeah, it almost causes those second-level players, those linebackers, to hesitate just a tad, because you're not quite sure if he's going to keep it on the run-pass option. So Michael Stack in now to attempt the extra point and even things up. Low snap. Stack still able to get it away, and it's good. Excellent job by the holder that time, and the extra point is good, and we are back to even, tied at 7. 2:03 to go here in the first quarter.
Nice response from UWL. You have a turnover, you're kind of out of sorts, giving up a lot of runs on defense. Nice drive. This game is back to even.
Take another look at the touchdown here, Nick, as we look at the sideline, actually. Here's the touchdown, Lynch. You can kind of see that defensive end, outside linebacker on the left side for Eau Claire. He's got to kind of stay at home just in case Hildebrand takes off with it. And that's the benefit of having a running quarterback.
And we've seen both teams kind of spread the field out down by the goal line. It's a lot tougher, obviously, for those middle linebacker, secondary players that need to come in and fill those gaps from the line. It's a lot tougher when you have to run 10, 15 yards to get to that spot. Line for the Eagles did a great job of opening a couple different holes. Lynch had a walk-in touchdown.
A 75-yard drive by the Eagles, and the key play was on that first set of downs for the Eagles, Nick. On 3rd and 17, Hildebrand running for 18 yards to pick up that first down, keep the drive alive. And then, of course, the fortuitous bounce on the fumble. Stack with the kick. Tonsager is there from his own 14-yard line. Managing his way through traffic and gets up to the 34. A nice return that time by Landon Tonsager, a freshman, and his twin brother is starting cornerback, for the Blue Golds.
I'm sure the parents really appreciate that.
Going to school at the same school and
Yes.
playing on the same team, that'll save a little bit of a travel and headaches, that's for sure. As someone who has twins and who has played on the same team before, will always appreciate just having to go to one spot for an athletic event.
I don't know if that was talked about seriously when the kids were deciding to go, but I'm sure mom and dad weren't going to argue.
Here's Ivan Rubel trying that right side that you mentioned earlier, and another nice first down gain for the Blue Golds.
Yeah, I mean, you got Jake Thompson at center. He's the senior, or excuse me, the junior from Chippewa Falls. He's kind of the anchor, and then Strauss and Malloy on that right side have done a really nice job.
Rubidoux with pressure coming to the sideline. He overshoots his receiver, and that was Trey Fitzgerald. So it'll be 3rd down and about 6 for Eau Claire. Eagles bringing pressure that time.
Yeah, I think they got to do something to get Rubidoux kind of off his rhythm. Eagles have done a nice job against the pass this year. 3rd and manageable. This is, again, where UW-Eau Claire wants to live.
Rubidoux 4 of 6 so far for 38 yards in this first quarter. 3rd and 6. Pressure from Kelly. Dumps it off. Caught! And it's Garside. First down yardage up to the 48-yard line. A big play for Rubidoux and Garside and the Blue Golds.
Garside is the target for UW-Eau Claire's offense. This is the guy they want to get the ball to, especially in space. Does a nice job beating his man across the middle. Ran past the sticks too, right? Sometimes we see where guys will run a yard or two short of where the line to gain is, and he did a nice job running a deep enough route.
Well, Rubidoux only completes 53% of his passes, but he's 5 for 7 so far in this one. Here comes more pressure. They want to set up the screen. They do to Rubel, and Rubel did a nice job of gaining just 2 yards on that play, as it looked like the Eagles had that one sniffed out pretty well.
Eau Claire receivers have dropped a handful of passes. That's part of the reason why Rubidoux's completion percentage is down. It's also, you got to think about, they've had a lot of 3rd and longs, and obviously when a defense is ready for a passing situation, your completion percentage is going to suffer a little bit. So maybe the 53% not a true reflection of the skills that Harry Rubidoux has.
2nd and 9. That's Rubel in motion. The handoff. Fitzgerald tries to find the edge, and he is dragged down after a loss of about a yard, and that will be the final play of the first quarter. So we have 1 quarter in the books, a good one so far. We are locked up at 7-7 back here at Herring Stadium right after a short timeout. Scott Emmerich and Nick Tabbert back at Herring Stadium in La Crosse. Last play of the first quarter.
A lot of quick handoffs. They've tried that right side. Eagles starting to key in on that, though, obviously able to string that one up, setting up a third and kind of the first long situation for the Blue Golds on offense today.
3rd and 10 here for the Blue Gold offense. They're at their own 47-yard line. Rubidoux really solid in that first quarter. 6 of 8 for 50 yards. Eagles only rush 3 over the middle. It is caught. Tonsager, first down yardage down to the 35-yard line. And a great fire by Rubidoux that time, splitting that Eagle zone defense.
Nice 3-step drop. Ball came out right away. No chance for your UW-Eau and the pressure to get there. Nice timing route, too, with Tonsager. Just a freshman. He's been a spark for the offense. He and Harry starting to really feel it.
Tonsager's second catch of the game. That one goes for a big first down. Tonsager in motion. Rubidoux looking to throw. He wants it all. He has Garside, and he couldn't come down with it. Tate Pitcher on the coverage. Garside was open and had a step on Pitcher, but that one he couldn't come down with it. Now Pitcher comes up a little bit lame, and he'll get subbed in for. Here's another look at it.
This ball just a little underthrown, or if he leads Garside more to the right side of the end zone, I think it's an easy 6, but Garside had to kind of stop his momentum, try to come back against the defender and catch that ball. Near miss.
The Blue Golds are going into the breeze a little bit here. There is a wind left to right as you watch on your TV. Rubel, the handoff up the middle, breaking tackles, and then dragged down. After a nice gain, it'll set up a 3rd, and as you like to say, Nick, a 3rd and manageable.
Yeah, they've faced a lot of 3rd and longs in the last couple games, and when you're forcing Harry to do a 5-step drop, and what Rob Erickson was telling me was there's only so many play calls you can call on 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, and so when it's 3rd and manageable, you have more of your playbook. Obviously, you can still run the ball confidently to get at least, maybe this is, like you said earlier, 4-down territory in this part of the field. There it is again, another handoff, play action.
Rubel gets right to the first down marker. Let's see if they give it to him. And they do. So Rubel with a nice gain of 6 on 3rd and 6. And now the Blue Golds, who have struggled on 3rd down, they're now 5 of 6 on 3rd downs so far in this game.
Ivan Rubel off to a great start, too. You know, he only averages about 50 yards a game and has really lowered the shoulder, and I've got him down for 13 at this moment, but it feels like he's been able to have more success than that.
Rubidoux on first down. It's Garside breaking free. Touchdown, Blue Golds. Isaac Garside with his 3rd touchdown catch of the season.
3rd in the last 2 weeks, Scott. He had 2 last week against Platteville. When he's healthy, he is such a dangerous player for UW-Eau Claire.
Beat Pat Wade on the quick slant that time, and the Blue Golds back in front, now looking to add to it. Dan Zulli with the point after.
I think Isaac is finally healthy. I think he's finally 100% healthy. We documented, missed a lot of the non-conference with the hamstring injury, and it looks like he's finally back to his true self here.
Sure looks good there. Eau Claire's up 14-7. We'll be right back. Well, the Blue Golds looking to pull off a shocker here, leading the Crosse 14-7 early second quarter. Here's another look at the touchdown.
Another quick throw, 3-step drop, get that ball out right in stride with Garside. It's a timing play, right? So often in football, it's about can you disrupt the timing, the rhythm of the other team. And on that drive, Harry Rubidoux had time, was comfortable in the pocket, able to deliver that ball right where he wanted to his receivers.
Garside 3 catches for 49 yards in this one. And the Blue Golds, their offense, definitely in rhythm. Here's the kick. This will be Tyler Stoltenberg from his own 15-yard line, looking for some room. and takes it up to about the 27. So 1st and 10 Eagles. We'll see how they respond. They responded last time after a blue gold touchdown with a touchdown of their own.
Maybe a little bit more Kaiser on this drive, Scott. Let's see if he's going to maybe take it into his own hands here. And we've seen him convert the 3rd and longs. Maybe let's see if he takes it on 1st down, tries to get the offense kind of off to a hot start on this drive. Just find its rhythm right away.
All right, on 1st down from the 28. Little quick hitter. This is going to be Butcher, and he gets hammered that time. And a nice hit for the Blue Golds, but it's Jack Butcher making the catch and a gain of 5.
Ryan Keekley.
Ryan Keekley, the team's leading tackler, delivering that blow.
Smart player. Coach Erickson says he's always got the notebook with him out on the practice field, in the right place at the right time. One of the best finishers in the conference.
Keekley finishes that tackle as well. Near the 1st down is WIAC, and looks like they're going to give it to him. So a gain of 5 and a 1st down for the Crosse offense.
Jack Studer's been pretty quiet today. Let's see if they turn to him at some point, maybe when you get out in plus territory.
On 1st down, Helterbrand brings in the high snap, gets out to Lemoyne, and Lemoyne gets a quick 7 up to the 45-yard line.
Nice block that time from Studer, though. Took on 2 blue golds, created that space on the right side near the sideline to pick up that nice gain on 1st down.
And La Crosse on the move. They average about 450 yards per game. They have one long scoring drive of 75 yards. Working on this one here, 2nd and 3 from their own 45. Watson in motion. They fake the handoff to him. Helterbrand going to chuck it up deep, has his receiver open, and it is caught, and a touchdown, Wyatt Lemoyne. 52 yards, Helterbrand to Lemoyne.
I was just getting ready to say, Scott, that this secondary is young, and they've had their moments where they lose people in coverage or just kind of get beat on the deep balls, and here we go. A little underthrown, but he had beaten his man so badly that he was able to come back, wait for it, was Lemoyne.
That's his 2nd touchdown reception of the season. Now Michael Stack will try to add the extra point and even things up. And he does. 14 all, 11:32 to go here in the 2nd quarter. Stand by, more WIAC football coming your way after this short timeout. Well, UW-La Crosse needed just 4 plays to go, 73 yards. Here's the touchdown.
And it's really just a go route. And Lemoyne just ran right by the defender. Like I said, had to wait for the ball, but beautifully thrown. Ran so fast, Scott, that he had time to wait for it even.
Here's the kick. Coming down to Rubel from his own 5-yard line. He's going to return it. Rubel gets taken down at the 14. A short return that time for the Blue Golds, so they'll start 1st and 10 at their own 14. Evan Hong is our sideline reporter. Let's check in with him.
Hey guys, 2 really strong drives to start this game, but this was a point of emphasis for the Blue Golds throughout the week, was to try and maintain that energy throughout the game. They talked about sometimes they can get a little too high energy at this point in the game. This was a point of emphasis last week against UW-Platteville. 2 early touchdowns, 14 early points, but then they lost that momentum into the 2nd half. So the Blue Golds need to try to stay even keel here. That was a focus for Rob Erickson throughout the rest of the game. Also, Noah Coleman, offensive lineman for UW-Eau, came out of a lengthy trip into the blue tent on crutches. No weight on his left ankle. He won't be back in this game.
Nice hit from Tyler Pitcher.
Need anything? No, I'm good.
Is he still talking?
Pitcher breaking up the pass.
Tyler Pitcher, 6'2", 190, laying it all on the line here on Rubel.
Yeah, Coach Janis likes the length of his cornerbacks. Pitcher on one side, and there's a handoff up the middle, and stuffed Nate Hippis coming up from his defensive tackle position. That guy's had a big season so far, number 77.
And here we are again, 3rd and long. Early in this game, it was 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4. Now we're looking at 3rd and 10 for the second drive in a row.
Well, Robidoux has been sharp so far in this one, 8 of 11 for 93 yards, needing to convert a big 3rd down from his own 14-yard line.
Eagles showing blitz.
Here they come, looking to set up a screen. Now he has to throw it away, and it's picked off. And it's going to be a touchdown for the Eagles, Shane Lang.
Ellsworth native. And what a play, right? You bring the blitz, you get Harry uncomfortable, has to throw that ball earlier than he wants to, and Shane Lang right there waiting for it. Easy pick 6.
It looked like they wanted to set up a screen a little bit here, but the defensive lineman for the Eagles read it nicely. Robidoux had to hesitate, and that allowed Lang to come up from his safety position to pick that one off, and a big momentum changer in favor of La Crosse. Michael Stack adds the extra point, and now La Crosse with their first lead of the game at 21-14 at 10:33 to go here in the first half. We talked about momentum changes and how they were going Eau Claire's way earlier, and talked about how the Blue Golds maybe needing to steal a possession here or there with turnovers, but they gave one up that time.
I wasn't expecting a shootout today, Scott.
Quite frankly, me neither. But here we are. We're still over 10 minutes to go here in the second quarter, and the scoreboard's been lit up.
UW-Eau Claire's highest point total, 31, but that was all the way back in the opener, Scott. We've played a lot of football since then. UW-L put 45 up on UW-Stout a few weeks ago in that air raid Blue Devils offense. So we'll kind of see what UW-Eau Claire can do. You have to feel good about what you've done moving the football. Obviously, that last throw you'd love to have back. But Eau Claire's offense has found something the last couple weeks. Now can they sustain it? And can they overcome some adversity here?
Yeah, big response moment here coming up for the Blue Golds. Getting the possession now after the pick 6 from Shane Lang. Stack the kick. This one headed towards Ivan Rubel, who waves for a fair catch, takes it, and so the Blue Golds will take it on their own 25-yard line. Little better field position. It's a new rule that has come into play within the last couple of years. I know I've sat with people in the stands and in press boxes and even watching games on TV, and they're like, oh, what's he doing calling for a fair catch at the 5-yard line? Well, in order to kind of reduce some of the injuries, and that usually happen on special teams, especially kickoff returns, they've allowed returners to fair catch in the field of play and give the offense the ball at the 25-yard line. First down, Blue Golds. They swing it out. Tonsanger got some room to run. And a nice first down gain of 11 yards. And that'll keep the chains moving.
He's great at finishing plays too, Scott. You notice he's on his back, reaching the ball for a couple extra yards. He's already a tall enough kid, right? But able to finish really strong on his catches.
First down handoff. Rubel taken down in the backfield. And that time, a little bit of a safety blitz coming and brought down nicely by Tyler Shaver. And now we have an injured Eau Claire offensive lineman. That is number 70, Jack Thompson, who was moved over to guard. And he has kind of played in a couple of spots on the offensive line. And offensive line has been an issue for the Blue Golds this year. They've really had to deal with some injuries.
Yeah, they lost a couple guys right away early this season in the non-conference portion. And You feel for Jake Thompson here. He's the leader of that offensive line, the junior from Chippewa Falls. Hopefully it's not too serious, but he's got his hands on his helmet here. Looks like he's in quite a bit of pain.
Well, one of the things when you're building a new program and you're a new head coach like Rob Erickson is, you kind of build from the inside out, and offense and defensive lines have to be spot on when you're out there recruiting. And he told me when he came in this year, they only had about 20 offensive linemen on the roster. That may seem like a lot to you and I sitting at home. It's like, well, you only play 5. Well, what do you need 20 for? I mean, but actually, Coach Erickson explained to me what you really want is you want to have about 25 to 28 offensive linemen on your roster. You need guys, first of all, to be a good, solid backups, and you also need guys to run scout teams. You're not using your starters and initial backups on your scout team. So you want to build your offensive line roster, and right now it sits at about 20 for Eau Claire. Coach Erickson would like to get another 5 to 8 more offensive linemen on his roster during the recruiting period for next year, so to kind of build some depth.
They've already had a great recruiting cycle, and it's not done yet. I've been told that they're going to have 40, almost 50 kids coming in on this class. And
yeah, you saw number 70 just kind of get rolled up a little bit from behind, and so often we see that. We saw that with Noah Coleman at UW-Eau, their center, earlier in this game.
You know what, though? Both schools have great training staffs, and hopefully we can get everybody back on the field here.
2nd and 11 after that loss of 1 on that running play. That's Rubel in motion. They swing it out to him, and he drops it. Had a little bit of running room, I thought, initially, but he just couldn't quite corral it, so that's an incomplete pass, and it's 3rd and long.
Yeah, the Blue Gold's kind of out of rhythm on offense now. They were doing a great job on first down, getting positive yardage. That would hit him right in the hands, off the chest. I think he had his eyes to the right, Scott, looking at the defender coming up. He was already planning his juke move before he caught the football.
3rd and long. Eagles rush 3. Rubidoux trying to escape. Throws caught, but short of the first down. Nice fingertip catch by Garside. It's a gain of 7 on the play. 4th and about 5, and the Blue Golds will punt.
Honsager having a really nice half. He's the spark for this offense. Needs to play a little bit more consistently is what the coach has told us, but as a freshman, he's made quite the impact.
You got time to gain consistency as a freshman.
You mentioned momentum. It's clearly swung in La Crosse's favor. They are winning the line battle up front, forcing 3rd and longs, getting Harry out of rhythm. Obviously just had the quick score. Now they're getting the ball back.
And again, the Eagles playing fake punt protect that time as Zach Watson calls for a fair catch with nobody in front of him to block. So Eagles will take over 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line.
Blue Golds have a pretty big bag of tricks. They started last week's game with an onside kick. That was scripted from the top. And then they also tried a fake punt deep in their own territory against Platteville. Didn't work, but Rob Erickson not afraid to roll the dice.
And it's clear that Matt Janis, his good friend, has got that message, because on 4th downs when the Blue Golds have had to punt, they haven't even taken their defense off the field. 1st down. Lynch looking for some running room, and there's Keekley again, showing why he's one of the leading tacklers in the conference.
Smart player, like I mentioned before. Really good student of the game. He has the 2 interceptions, 56 tackles coming into today's game. He's adding to that. Also one of the better pass defenders on this Blue Golds defense. Just a smart player, right? Just waiting for the moment to attack. Gets a nice bear hug, brings his guy down.
Epitome of a team leader and locker room leader, as well as a good player. It was a gain of 2, 2nd and 8. This is Watson in motion for the Eagles. Here comes a blitz. They dump it off. It is caught. Running room is Tyler Bowman to the outside into Blue Gold territory to the 48-yard line. A nice little pitch and catch that time from Helterbrand to Tyler Bowman, who's seen a little bit more playing time at receiver with Ryan Bartol out with injury for the Eagles.
Sophomore from Spring Valley. I think I could run for 10 yards on this play, Scott, with all the blockers they had out in front. Nice job setting this up, and then Bowman using that great vision like he did in high school with Spring Valley.
Well, it was a good play call because the Blue Golds were bringing a blitz from that side. First down, Helterbrand keeps over the middle. Bowman wide open, and he just underthrew him a little bit. Catchable, but a little bit behind him, and that would have been a huge gainer if not a touchdown.
We've seen a few passes just a little bit off the mark that could have gone for scores, but UW-Eau still in great position here, plus side of the field. They're moving the ball well. They've done a nice job of setting up third and manageables outside of the couple times where they faced third and 15 plus, but then Kaiser bailed them out.
2nd and 10. That's Bowman in motion. Blitz coming. Helterbrand escapes. Helterbrand looking deep for Studer. Has him. He's got it. Down inside the 5 to the 2. Kaiser Helterbrand making something happen. A gain of 47 yards on that play. And he had to avoid the blitz coming from that side.
Yeah, you expect him to run when he gets out in space like this, but look at the vision and the confidence, just calm, cool, collected. Knew he had somebody downfield, likely one-on-one coverage. And there's Studer. He's been quiet so far today, but a big catch right there.
Isaac Grunstrom must have thought, man, this is the greatest blitz call ever. I have him dead to rights, but that's Helterbrand right there. Now Helterbrand looking. Now he's going to decide to run, and he gets down to the 1 yard line. There was good coverage in the end zone that time by the Blue Gold secondary. Helterbrand had to take off with it.
And he's not afraid to lower the shoulder. We've seen it on third down. We've seen it in previous games, late game situations when he needs those yards to maybe close out a game like he did against Oshkosh last week. He is going to lower the shoulders and finish.
2nd and goal. The handoff to Lynch. Lynch to the goal line. They're calling him just short, so it's going to be 3rd and goal inside the 1 yard line.
I think they're going to spread out the field again, and I wouldn't be surprised if Kaiser follows one of his running backs now on this 3rd down play.
Helterbrand with Lynch behind him. 3rd and goal inside the 1. They fake it, toss it, open, touchdown, Eagles. It is Dryden Schaefer, the senior tight end on senior day, coming in here to get the touchdown.
Well, they had me fooled, and they had most of the Blue Gold defense fooled too. I think everybody thought maybe it was going to be Kaiser or Lynch running that football, but great play design. Your eyes are in the backfield. You're thinking, okay, it's going to be a run, but nope, there goes the senior out the back door for the catch.
Now Michael Stack with the point after. Hammers that one through. 21 unanswered for La Crosse after the Blue Golds had taken the lead 28-14. La Crosse leading this one with just over 6 minutes to go here in the first half. And it's been a quick strike Eagle offense, a couple of deep throws. Helterbrand now 10 of 13 on the day, 176 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the Eagles getting it done through the air and on the ground. Although more so through the air. Here's another look at the touchdown. Oh, Dryden Schaefer, how about this? A senior. You know, the Eagles don't use their tight ends a whole lot. It's mostly a spread offense, and every once in a while they'll bring one in, and situations like that down on the goal line or short yardage, and a huge moment there for Dryden Schaefer.
And Matt Janis, the first guy waiting on the sideline to congratulate him, give him a big old hug. I think maybe they talked about that play, that situation earlier in the week. Hey, it's senior day. Let's get you a score in front of mom and dad here.
Let's dial one up. Michael McGuire, the UW-Eau offensive coordinator. They have an interesting kind of dynamic there. Matt Janis calls the plays for the defense, head coach. Michael McGuire calls the plays for the offense. He said, there are times I don't see Coach McGuire at all during the week until we get out on the practice field. Just kind of lets him do his thing. Here's Rubel on the return, still on his feet. And he makes his way up to about the 22-yard line.
Last time they called for the fair catch. This time he elects to run it. And a 3-yard difference. UW-Eau has been great in the first halves, Scott, this season. They've outscored teams by a wide margin in the first quarter. Second quarter, 69-41, the point advantage. So UW-Eau has done a great job of getting off to the fast starts. Obviously today they've flipped the momentum after giving up 14 early, and the Eagles clearly in control of this game right now.
Here's Rubel on the handoff. Brought down immediately. Rubel able to sneak ahead for about a yard. That'll bring up 2nd and 9.
Running into the teeth of that defense has gotten a lot more difficult, Scott, from the first quarter, first few drives of the game. Let's see if the Blue Golds elect to maybe get the ball out on the perimeter a little bit more. Let Rubel or Garside have a chance to only take on 1 or 2 defenders instead of that interior of the defense.
Looking for Garside here, and that's through his hands. Incomplete, so that'll set up a 2nd and long. Yeah, it was Austin Canati providing some defensive support, along with Trent Mullen wearing number 18 for UW-Eau. So a 3rd and long situation here. The Blue Golds were able to stay out of these through much of the first quarter into the second quarter, but the last few possessions, it's been 3rd and long. We'll see what they dial up here. 3 receivers to the near side of the field, 2 to the top, and now a timeout. Matt Janis doesn't like what he sees out there, so he wants to discuss with his defense. Maybe this is a good time for us to talk a little bit about the relationship Matt Janis and Rob Erickson have. Kind of unique. Rob Erickson was Matt Janis's coach for one season when Janis was a player, a linebacker at UW-Platteville.
That's right, and they really hit it off that one year they had together. Rob Erickson could tell right away. Matt Janis understands the game, asked him to be part of the staff as a graduate assistant. Later had another opportunity to coach together at Platteville, and they actually got to know each other pretty well off the field as well. Erickson was a reader at Janis's wedding. They were part of that special day, and Erickson tells me, he's been over to Janis's house
many times.
Many times. They talk almost weekly. I'm told they did not talk this week, though. I suppose you got to have a little bit of an edge when you come into the game on Saturday.
We did see them visit with each other out on the field before the game. Here's a quick hitter to Tonsager. He's going to be a couple yards short of the first down, and just to touch a little bit more on the friendship between Rob Erickson and Matt Janis, I asked Rob, I said, hey, give me a scouting report on Matt Janis, the player. What was he like? And he's like, well, kind of like as he is as a coach. He was kind of like very smart, very intuitive, a good athlete, not great athlete, but always took the right angle and lined up correctly and was a terrific player. Janis was a team captain at UW-Platteville, and it's fun to hear those two talk about each other, and it's neat to see. Long punt this time for Zuli will put the Eagles back in on the 23-yard line. I also asked Matt Janis this. I said, doesn't that kind of put you in kind of an unusual spot? I mean, you're good friends. You want to see your good friend do well, but not that well, right?
I'm sure they're going to have a text or maybe a phone call in the next few days to talk about how this game turned out. But, even Erickson on Monday told me, we support the other WIAC schools. If I can't be on top of the conference going to the playoffs, I want, maybe Stevens Point, where Erickson is from, or UW-Eau or UW-Platteville. We want the WIAC to do well. So he's obviously wanting to beat him right now, but he supports him in the long run, wants him to do well.
Deo picks up 3 up the middle, and it's kind of interesting, if you're the two head coaches who are good friends, you're kind of battling over the same recruits. You're not only just battling on the field as well, and of course you're also, as you mentioned, rooting for each other, being the best conference in the league, in my opinion, in the nation. And so it's an interesting dynamic that those two share, but longtime friends, I'm sure. 2nd and about 7. Here's Lemoyne. Not a whole lot of running room. Blue Gold snuffed that one out well. Waltersdorf in there. So is Rundstrom as well.
Big possession for the Blue Gold's defense. Can you get the ball back to your offense? Maybe a chance to flip the momentum here with just under 4 minutes to go in the first half.
3rd and about 2. With about 3.5 minutes to go until halftime.
I keep waiting for Kaiser to keep the ball, Scott, but he hasn't had to. He's been able to get the ball to his playmakers, and it hasn't all had to fall on his shoulders.
His best runs have been on scrambles, and he heard you, Nick, because he's going to run it here, and he spins his way for a first down up to the 36-yard line. One of the first real times that we've seen a true running play for Kaiser Helterbrand.
Yeah, and I think Matt Janis is comfortable, or at least the Eagles staff is comfortable with getting the ball to Kaiser in clutch situations. He has delivered time and time again, moving the chains. We've seen the long scrambles. That was more of just a, here we come, try and stop us.
Helterbrand, 5 carries, 31 yards rushing, but he did have 2 long runs on 3rd downs to convert. Straight up the middle. WIAC, the handoff, and he picks up about 5 on first down.
And we've talked about the quick hitters, the explosive plays for the Eagles on offense. Let's see if they take another shot down the field here.
Second down with the clock running, so if you're the Eagles, you're kind of looking at the clock and also trying to manage this drive. Helterbrand on the quick out. Studer avoids 1 tackler. Turns upfield and picks up a first down before he's knocked out of bounds at the Eau Claire 45-yard line.
That's a great point, Scott. You know, La Crosse can hit you with the big plays, but they also lead the WIAC in time of possession. They hold on to the football more than 34 minutes a game, and they might just be content here to let this clock tick down to the final seconds of the half, and hopefully they're going across the goal line here with just a second or 2 remaining.
About 1:45 to go until halftime. Eagles with 2 timeouts. Eau Claire with all 3 of theirs. Here's Lynch bouncing to the outside, turns it up and picks up 8, and we have a late flag coming in, and we'll see what this is all about.
Maybe a hold. One of those linemen that was leading the way on that left side.
And the Eagles seem to be taking steps backwards. We'll see.
Asking Erickson what he wants to do on the far sideline right now.
Yep.
Holding. Offense. Number 73. 10-yard penalty for the respond to the foul. First down.
And that's going to be Dane Walter, the sophomore, called for the holding. Here's another look at it. Watch number 73 on the left part of your screen. And sometimes you see stuff like this on running plays that kind of bounce to the outside. Yeah, I think he kind of yanked back on him a little bit there.
A little bit of showmanship, a little bit of acting though, getting those arms flailing too. Hey, I'm over here, I'm getting held.
Sure, you got to embellish a little bit on that, but a good call nonetheless. First down, they swing it out to Lynch. Lynch has room, and he picks up some good yardage, but this one's going to come back as well. That's going to be another penalty on the Eagles, a crackback block, and you see the blue gold player down. And let's get the call on this one. This is going to be a personal foul against the Eagles. Officials still discussing over there. And they could be discussing if it actually was a crackback block. It was shoulder to shoulder, it looked like. I don't know if we can show you on the replay or not, but so now we see the official pick up the flag, and
it's Carmichael for the Blue Golds. He's a junior from Toma.
Yeah, and they're going to stick with the call, and it looked like the right call as well. A crackback block here. Let's see if we can see the upper part of your screen. Lynch is going to leak out on the screen. And it's Levi Litke, number 58, who gets called for the personal foul. So that'll move him back even further. And with 1:08 to go, the Eagles were driving and looking good for a possible score. But now you're looking at a 1st and 30, Nick. What you got there on your play call sheet on 1st and 30?
Well, I would like to get Kaiser out in space. Maybe do some play action rollout, see if he can either run for a good chunk. Nope, it's going to be a quick time throw.
That's Bowman, who gets 6 of the 30 yards back. 2nd and 24 with 1:04 to go.
I think you're just going to see how this second down play goes. If you can get into 3rd and manageable, then you're going to go for it, obviously, but with those 2 timeouts in your pocket. But I think maybe if you don't get much here, maybe you are just content to bleed the clock out and not give the Blue Golds much of anything here before halftime.
Here's Helterbrand with time, plenty of time.
Asking for a block now.
Now he's going to scramble, cuts it upfield, across the 40, down to the 38-yard line, and that'll set up 3rd and manageable. He's about 3 yards short of the 1st down, so he picked up 21 yards on that 2nd and 24. Clock still running with 42 seconds to go. Eagles quick to the line. They still have 2 timeouts left. And now it looks like they're going to kind of slow play it.
Yeah.
As you can look at Helterbrand on the replay, just kind of lower his shoulder. Under 30 seconds to go now. Here's Helterbrand. Going to go deep down the middle. Studer got it. Touchdown. From 1st and 30 to a touchdown, Eagles. And they have taken total command of this game. Jack Studer.
Well, you can afford to let a lot of time run off the clock, Scott, when you can have the big hit like that. Man, so many explosive plays here in this first half. Eagles really showing you how talented this offense is. And just another case where the UW-Eau receiver ran right by the coverage.
Studer's 10th touchdown catch of the year. He leads the WIAC in receiving touchdowns.
Beat Caden Tonsager there.
Stack's extra point is good, and it's 35-14 with 19 seconds to go here in the first half. Another huge momentum turner.
What a second quarter for the Eagles, being down 14-7 to now 35-14 as we get ready to go into the locker room.
Yeah, the Blue Golds got off to that fantastic start. You talked about it, how it happened last week as well against Platteville, just unable to sustain.
Yeah, they could never get the momentum back. Had the 14-0 lead. It slowly leaked away. But then the Blue Golds just, they needed a spark. They could just never find it. It was, a moving of the chains, a turnover, a big play, explosive play on offense. They just couldn't get any of that. And Platteville went on to win it by quite a big margin, 47-14.
Well, that's kind of what Coach Erickson's talking about when he talks about building a program. When that snowball is rolling against you, having to try to stop it sooner rather than later. Hasn't happened the last couple of weeks, but
19 seconds here, you might, depending on this return, maybe you take a shot down the field, but not a lot of time to work with. And the Blue Golds haven't really shown us that they can have a big hit play, a big explosive play through the air. Doesn't mean they can't do it, but we haven't really seen it so far today.
Rubel gets tracked back to his goal line. He's going to give it a shot here on the kick return. Right up the middle across the 20 of the 21, and a flag comes soaring in. So we'll sort that out.
And remember, La Crosse is going to get the ball to start the second half after winning the coin toss and deferring.
28 straight points for the Eagles after Eau Claire jumped out to a 14-7 lead. That'll set the Blue Golds back deeper in their own territory with 14 seconds to go. until halftime, and you wonder if they may just try to take a knee and take their medicine and go in and regroup here at the half.
That's what I think is going to happen. You can already see Garside is well behind the formation. Robidoux about to take a knee.
And Robidoux does just that.
Some positives for the Blue Golds. You know, you're going to talk about it at halftime. We just need to get back into a rhythm on offense, stay ahead of the chains, and then you just got to give stop giving up the big plays on defense.
Getting beat deep a couple times on some deep throws, and that has been costly for the Blue Golds. Studer had a long pass reception of 49 yards. And Evan Hong standing by with Blue Golds head coach Rob Erickson.
All right, here with Coach Erickson. Coach, a couple of those touchdowns are on big, long touchdown passes. What does the defense have to do to stop the big plays?
Yeah, we got to stay on top of our guy. I mean, we're getting beat on the post route. We got to stay on top. I mean, we got to open our hips. We got to run. I mean, we know what they're doing. We just got to stay on top of the route.
And what does the offense have to do to regain momentum that you guys had in those first 2 drives?
Yeah, we just got to execute on first down, get back into second and short and third and short. We'll get that fixed.
Okay, thanks, Coach. Back up to you guys.
All right, thanks, Evan. Pretty much agree with Coach Erickson right there, getting beat over the top and reestablishing some momentum on offense.
I agree. They've done a lot of good things in the first quarter. The second quarter kind of got away from them, unraveling. It's a young team, learning, especially learning how to win here. So on the flip side, though, UW-Eau, what a response. They've done pretty much dominated this game in all facets since the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, they've really taken over the second quarter, that's for sure. Colton Emsweiler is standing by with our halftime activities. We'll check with him shortly. Right now, we're going to take a timeout.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our halftime special. La Crosse leads Eau Claire 35-14. A lot of touchdowns and turnovers to sift through. We'll get to them soon enough. It has been a year of transition for UW-Eau Claire athletics. That includes 3 new coaches and a new athletic director. Jason Verdugo was hired in June. He sat down with Nick Tabbert to talk about the Sonnentag complex that is being constructed near campus, as well as his vision for the future of Blue Gold sports as a whole.
You've been on campus for a handful of months now. What's your #1 priority the next, 6 months?
Continue to have connection with our coaches. I mean, that's a big one. Garnering and earning their trust is really important. When I took this job, I knew there was a lot of talented people, but it's something that I significantly underestimated the level of talent, and I'm grateful for that.
How important are wins and losses for you?
It's not going to come at the expense of us doing the right things or putting the health and well-being of our student athletes first, but it is a big component to what we do day to day. Watching student athletes and coaches work through adverse times is the biggest tell of where your program is going. If our student athletes are still engaged, if coaches are still coaching hard, if the attention to detail is still there, and that's been the case. I've been really happy about that.
What are your impressions of this facility?
From the start, when I first arrived on campus in the interview process to what it is now, it is a little overwhelming because you're trying to envision what that's going to look like, not only for day-to-day operations, but what's that going to be, what's that going to look like for us in the recruiting process? What are the expectations of the community associated with that? Buildings aren't people. People are key to winning.
Where do things stand with Simpson Field? Is the plan still to finish out Phase 3?
Yes. Let me just say that. I think there's not going to be a facility that we currently play in or participate that doesn't need some sort of enhancement or some sort of moving the needle to as we go forward. Whether it's Simpson, Hobbs, Bollinger, McPhee, any of our facilities that are student athletes, the weight room, any of those things, Andy Jepson and many others on campus have a master plan to think about athletics globally, not just, section by section.
Is the plan still to play football on campus at some point?
That's a hope. I really think so. Even in the short time when we have men's and women's soccer games on campus this fall, it's pretty significant is that you see a lot of just general student population kids come and support it. So again, many of our games, there's been a pretty significant presence. Having them have spaces where the amenities are fantastic are really important.
Verdugo replaces Dan Schumacher as the Blue Gold AD after the latter retired last spring. We need to take a quick break, but when we return, the Badgers will be in prime time. The latest for Wisconsin football as they prepare to host Ohio State under the lights of Camp Randall Stadium. But first, here's a message from UW-La Crosse.
I'm going to be a doctor.
I am studying to be a teacher.
I'm an archaeology and rec management major.
You don't want to devote yourself entirely to one thing because there's so much more to life. And here at UW-Eau, I found those experiences.
It's perfect because it's not as big of a school where it feels like you're insignificant, but it's big enough where it still offers you everything you could ever need to succeed.
I've gotten to present my work at national conferences, connected with professors and professionals in different scientific communities across the globe.
And I thought a good way for me to meet people was joining organizations. I've been at UW-LES for undergrad and grad school, and I love it.
I've made some really strong friendships here at UW-Eau, and we have a lot of awesome memories that we've shared together.
Welcome back to halftime coverage as UW-Eau Claire and La Crosse meet for the 90th time. But that isn't the only big battle in Wisconsin today. The Badgers will host Ohio State coming off a dramatic win over Illinois. The play of the game being offensive lineman Nolan Rucci's go-ahead touchdown grab. And no one was more excited for him than his older brother Hayden, who plays tight end for the Badgers. Hayden described the moment as pure joy. He said people have been joking about how they are now tied in career touchdowns, but Hayden says he couldn't be happier for his brother. As for what he was thinking when he heard the play call,
So I knew we had it in the works. That was the last play that I expected to be called there. So when it was called, I was shocked. I think everybody else was too. I had said it. There's in the O-line huddle, somebody, I can't remember who said it was like called the play jokingly, and somebody else like, shut up, like we're not calling that. And then coach came over and of course called the play, and everybody was just like, oh my God. And Nolan was still on the sideline because he didn't realize it, so I'm waving him over and he comes over and then he immediately knew what was going on. And even my dad, because we had talked about it in the previous weeks, he knew what was going on too, so he had the same feeling as all of us there, so it's pretty funny.
primetime matchup, kickoff against Ohio State is at 6:30 this evening. We need to take another quick break, but when we return, highlights of the Eagles and Blue Gold so far. But first, a message from UW-Eau Claire.
There's no better feeling than them getting healthy again and being able to play the sport they love.
It's a wonderful program that they have developed here at UW-Eau Claire. You get so many opportunities to get your hands wet.
That really separates us from a lot of other places. Our students don't just sit there and watch. They get their hands dirty and interact with everybody and get to work with the patients.
They're trained by people who do it every day so that, you know, when they come up and offer to do a treatment for you, you know that it's the same quality that you would be getting from a licensed athletic trainer.
You know, it makes me think about why I like doing this. It makes me feel good, and I'm sure it makes them feel a lot better about themselves.
Everybody comes out ahead on it, and it is a win-win situation because I am better physically than I was 2 years ago.
The students are out in the field working with the community, and the community members are coming back here working with the students. That's something that you definitely wouldn't get at a larger university that you're going to find in our program.
Welcome back. Still a few minutes left in halftime between La Crosse and Eau Claire. Tomorrow is the day where houses will be divided as the first matchup of the year between the Packers and Vikings take place, this one being at Lambeau. Matt LaFleur is trying to dig deeper to try to fix the shortcomings on offense, especially in the first half. Last week against Denver was the second game this season where they scored 0 points before halftime. We've heard them say youth is no excuse, and they're drilling that into these guys' heads too, even if they are rookies themselves.
As a rookie coming in here, playing considerable amount of reps, you know, every week my reps increase. I'm told, you know, you're not a rookie. You have a responsibility on the field to go do what you're asked to do. You know, you're no longer thought of as a young guy. So I think when guys on your team, coaches, when they say that to you, you don't feel like a young guy anymore. You feel like you are a pivotal piece in the unit with the team, and team goals are your goals.
and that game's going to be a noon kickoff. Now, before we send you back to Roger Herring Stadium, let's get to those first half highlights like we promised. Blue Golds got the ball first, but punted, now looking to stop La Crosse. And they get just that. Tyler Bowman puts the ball on the turf, and it's recovered by Eau Claire. That's a way to start on defense. Then just a few minutes later, Ivan Rubel takes the handoff on 3rd and goal, touchdown. EC strikes first. They lead it 7-0. La Crosse looking to respond. Kaiser Helterbrand hits Jack Studer, and he puts the ball on the ground. But Bowman makes up for his mistake by falling on it. What a break for the Eagles. And then on 1st and goal, Gabe Lynch does his best Rubel impression. We are tied at 7. Now to the second quarter. Eau Claire hoping to reach the red zone, but they find the end zone instead. Harry Rubidoux to Isaac Garside, 25 yards on the slant and the score, putting them back on top. An immediate response by La Crosse, though. Helterbrand looking for it all. He has a man. He's all alone. Wyatt Lemoyne, touchdown La Crosse. A very timely 55 yards, and we are tied once again. And La Crosse doesn't want another defensive miscue. They want a pick 6. Shane Lang, great name, intercepts Rubidoux and takes it to the house. That's going to give La Crosse their first lead of the game. Now we're at halftime. La Crosse again is leading 35-14. But that clock at halftime is ticking down, so we got to send it back to Roger Herring Stadium really soon. Sticking time, so we'll send it back to the studio, of course. And Nick Tabbert, Scott Emmerich, they're going to be on the call, and we will have a live interview. Evan Hong will talk to UWL head coach Matt Janis. It's the second half between the Eagles and Blue Golds. Thank you so much for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of the game, everybody.
Welcome back to Herring Stadium in La Crosse. UW-La Crosse leading Eau Claire 35-14. So glad you could join us here on WQOW 18 in Eau Claire and WXOW 19 in La Crosse. Scott Emmerich along with Nick Tabbert here bringing you the action. And, Colton showed the first half highlights there with UWL making a lot of big plays. It was a big play first half for the Eagles.
Sure was. Blue Golds got that 25-yard strike to Garside right away, but then Lemoyne, 55-yard pass, Studer, 38-yard pass. Eagles really making it with some explosive plays.
Moments ago, Evan Hong had a chance to catch up with UWL head coach Matt Janis.
Yeah, we talked about it all week. We talked about, especially with our defense, that eventually we're going to have to settle into this game. Kind of knew they were going to have a really good plan, and you kind of saw it early, trying to go at our, really at the boundary part of our defense and kind of do some different things with some crack blocks and kind of replace and run the stretch off that. So knew we had to settle down, and we knew that was going to take a quarter at least. We just kind of kept harping it to our team. Hey, we'll settle down, and eventually did, and obviously some big plays on offense to get this thing rolling.
Okay, that's all I got. Thanks, Coach. Back to you guys, Nick and Scott in the booth.
Yeah, good point from Evan talking to Coach Janis about settling down. It's Parents' Day, last senior day here for the Eagles, last chance to play in front of the home folks. And once they got settled down, boy, they took off.
Yeah, really started with that pick 6, right? And then a couple of quick offensive drives to put points up in a hurry, and they took control right away in the second quarter. Scott, they have not given the momentum back.
Let's take a look at some of those first half stats. First for first downs, it's 13-9. Eagles over Eau Claire. They've rushed for 102 yards to Eau Claire's 32. They've thrown for 239 yards in that first half to Eau Claire's 118. And I imagine there's been a conversation or two in the defensive back locker room there for the Blue Golds after that first half.
Yeah, and Coach Erickson talked about it with Evan at halftime. Your hips are not in position. They're not they're not communicating right. They tell it to us at News 18 a lot about being aggressive when the ball is in the air, and they got beat and they weren't aggressive, and a couple of big explosive plays.
Opening kickoff of the second half, Stoltenberg with a nice return out to the 35-yard line. Big plays are huge for the Eagles as well. The Eagles connected on deep throws of 49 yards, 55 yards, and 38 yards in that first half. Helterbrand 15 of 18 for 239 yards through the air, along with 3 touchdowns. Jack Studer leading the way, 4 catches, 124 yards receiving for number 20 for UWL. First and 10 Eagles from their own 35-yard line. UW-Eau actually trailed 14-7 at one point, but they've scored 28 unanswered. Hildebrand with a quick hitter. This is Bowman who breaks a tackle and then scoots up to the 43-yard line for a nice gain of 8 yards.
Bowman had a really nice first half. 4 catches, 34 yards, made some guys miss after he caught the ball. Eagles have done a great job doing that, just making plays happen after you catch the ball in space, make some guys miss, yards after catch, really adding up here.
2nd and 2. Lynch straight ahead. Not a whole lot of running room, but he did find enough running room to pick up a first down.
And we got to talk about Studer, just 15 yards away, Scott, from 1,000 for the season. It was kind of quiet early, and made a couple big catches. And
remember, he had that fumble in the first half, and the Eagles got that fortuitous bounce, and they were able to recover it, and that was with Eau Claire leading. So a break there, but Studer's been unstoppable on the outside. They're looking to him here on the quick out. He has it, breaks a tackle, and into blue gold territory, down to around the 32-yard line. That is a pickup of 17 yards, and Jack Studer has now surpassed 1,000 receiving yards on the season. He's just the 5th player in school history to do so.
Yards after catch, Scott. Make a guy miss. Stiff arm. Nice gain. And well-deserved milestone for Studer.
Yeah, he still's got 2 more games to go, and maybe even more with the playoffs. Handoff to Lynch. Up the middle. Stumbles forward for about 5.
Yeah, if the Eagles can go as far as they think they can in the playoffs, you know, the season's only just past the halfway point with how many playoff games you have. So a chance to really fatten the stats down the stretch here.
Here's our first look at Zach Weir at quarterback, and now Kaiser Hildebrand lines up in the running back position. We saw this against Whitewater, and it functioned very well for the Eagles. Hildebrand in motion now as a running back. They look to him. Now it's Watson. Watson's going to chuck it to Studer. He's got it. Is he in bounds? Incomplete. They said he was out of bounds. Oh, my. Michael McGuire, UW-Eau's offensive coordinator, dialing up a beauty there, but Studer just couldn't quite stay in bounds.
A little razzle-dazzle to start the second half. How about that? Yeah, I think he...
Ooh, unless he bobbled it there. Thought maybe he had 1 foot down, but I don't know if we can get another look at it. Nonetheless, incomplete, so it's 3rd and 6.
Weir throws a nice ball. Watching him in warm-ups, really nice tight spiral, puts it right where it needs to be.
So after the trickeration, here's Hildebrand back at quarterback now, and makes the completion to Studer, trying to make some people miss, and he's going to be short of the first down. He only picks up 3, so it's going to be 4th and 3, and Kaiser Hildebrand's already telling the coaches, we want to go for it. If they were to attempt a field goal, it would be about 42 yards and into the wind, and the Eagle offense is going to stay out on the field and go for it on 4th and 3 from the blue gold 25.
Stack, the kicker, was hitting from around 43-45 with the wind in warm-ups.
Hildebrand open. This is Rajkovic, Marko Rajkovic, making the catch on 4th and 3, and he has first down yardage to the 13-yard line. Marko Rajkovic with his 7th catch of the season. We talk about how they don't go to the tight ends very often, but already in a couple of key situations, one down at the goal line in the first half, and here on 4th and 3.
I love that play call because you have Kaiser controlling what happens. He can scramble and run for the first down, or he can take that open look on the completion.
So the drive continues. Jack Butcher in motion. They fake the handoff to him. Now they lob towards the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, Eagles. It looks like Rajkovic on the reception. Back-to-back receptions for Marko Rajkovic. That's his first touchdown of the year.
Nice timing route, just a wheel route. Nice job to go up, high point the football, and then he toe tapped it in to secure the touchdown.
Michael Stack adds the point after, and the Eagles lead is up to 42-14. Opening drive goes 65 yards for the Eagles for the touchdown. We're going to take a short timeout. UWL up 42-14.
Thank you to the Eagle timeout program.
Eagles taking the opening possession of the second half, marching it right down the field. A big fourth down conversion, and this Kaiser Helterbrand to Marko Rekovic.
Get the ball out fast. Let your receiver go up and high point that football. Gave him enough room in front of the boundary to be able to make that play and not have to worry about really tight roping the sideline. Was able to really time his jump and make an athletic play.
6'4", 240-pound sophomore making that catch. And now Stack about to kick off, and the wind blows the ball off the tee. And Nick, very sad to report some news here for our viewing audience. I saw the first snowflakes of the season falling here at halftime.
We sign up for this every year, and every year everyone's always, here it is.
Nobody ever says, hey, do you remember when you did that La Crosse Eau Claire game when it was really hot?
It's a tradition, Scott.
I know. We've had snow on the sidelines here. We've had snow coming down when we've been up in Eau Claire. It's the product of having this game in late October and sometimes in November. But love bringing it to you. So glad you could join us here on WQOW 18 in Eau Claire and WXOW 19 here in La Crosse.
What this means is you're just going to have to dress a little bit warmer with your Halloween costume, Scott.
That's true. Yeah, I'm going to have to get some thermals underneath that. Absolutely. I haven't picked one out yet, though, for tonight, Nick, but I know you have your favorite costume picked out.
The wife is wearing a 90s track outfit, so I think I got to do something that's pretty bright and athletic.
Yeah, love it. All right, 1st and 10 for the Blue Golds. Harry Rubidoux got off to a great start throwing the ball. He was 5 of 7 to begin the game. Straight handoff up the middle goes to Rubel. Rubidoux, I mentioned 5 of 7 to start. He is 11 of 18 overall for 118 yards and that one big interception. And oh my, we have another offensive lineman down for the Eau Claire offense. And you know, this is something you don't want to see. This is Alex Jurcic, the center, who I know Coach Erickson spoke very highly of. When I spoke to him earlier this week. We're going to take a short timeout. We'll be right back. Back here at Herring Stadium, let's go down to the sidelines now where Evan Hong has an injury update for us.
Hey guys, another Blue Gold injury on the field there, and the injuries just continue to pile up for UW-Eau Claire. Jake Thompson, offensive lineman, he went out in the first half. He has come back out without pads on the sideline. He was getting some work on his left knee. He's already wearing a brace on that knee, so he will not be back in the game. Jake Carmichael went out after a blindside block earlier in the game. He is still on the sideline, but now he's getting some work on his lower body, and then a number more Blue Golds banged up. Tight end Bodie Zen's getting some work. Marcus Banks is getting some work, so more salt in the wound for the Blue Golds. The injuries continue to pile up, guys.
Yeah, pile up indeed. Now the Blue Golds are on their third center. Number 61, Lucas Barbie from Eau Claire North is now in at center for the Blue Golds. So, yeah, those offensive line hits and injuries that just keep coming for Eau Claire. But here's a nice run. Straight up the middle goes Ivan Rubel. Rubel had 26 yards rushing in that first half, and now he has 2 carries and for 16 more yards on top of that here to start the second half.
These guys aren't going to quit. UW-Eau Claire, they play with energy, and they play to the finish. They play all 4 quarters. Hasn't shown on the scoreboard with the results they want, but the effort has been there every week.
That deep pass incomplete, and yet another offensive lineman for Eau Claire is down, and that is number 75, Drew Helene. And, boy, can't get any worse for the Blue Golds when it comes to offensive line injuries. My goodness.
Well, you were talking about this earlier, Scott, with the depth you want at the offensive line position, and you're seeing firsthand why that depth is so important.
10:15 to go here in the third quarter in the Blue Gold's opening possession after Lacrosse had the opening possession of the second half, drove 65 yards for a touchdown. And we talked about in the first half about how the deep ball has been an issue, and covering the deep ball has been an issue for Eau Claire. Here's a series of plays. We saw a deep pass. This one to Wyatt Lemoyne for a touchdown. That went for 55 yards. They also connected on a deep one to Jack Studer for 49 yards here down to the 2-yard line. And I know that was a big part of the conversation for Rob Erickson and the defensive staff. And of course, at the end of the half, Studer on the receiving end of a 38-yard touchdown pass. And those three plays almost accumulating 150 yards of offense. All right. Second down for the Blue Golds. They swing it out to David Antoine, his first reception of the day, and he is absolutely dropped. Trent Mullen on the tackle that time. It's a loss of 2. And that'll bring up a third down.
Third and long again, Scott. You know, it was third and manageable, 3rd and 5 or less early on in the game, and credit the Eagles defense for making the adjustment, applying a little bit more pressure and really just limiting the yardage on first down, setting up these third and longs.
Eagles rush 3, throw out to the side, and no chance. That one falls incomplete, intended for Ben Reddington. So on fourth down, from the 45-yard line, Coach Erickson will decide better to punt.
Could still see a fake punt today. They ran one last week. Really, you know, why not? At some point today, you're trying to evaluate all of your schemes, and with the score being 42-14, I wouldn't be surprised.
Zuli boots it away. This will take a Blue Gold's bounce, scooped up by Watson, and he just decides to take his medicine and step out at the 14-yard line. 1st and 10 Eagles from their own 14-yard line, 9:23 to go here in the first half. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be right back. First and 10 Eagles from their own 14-yard line. High snapped, pulled down by Helterbrand, and nowhere to go is Gabe Lynch. Excuse me, that was Deo Oye with the carry.
Interested to see if the Eagles are a little bit more content to try to run some clock here, let that offensive line close out the game.
Yeah, much the way they did last week against Oshkosh. The Eagles were in one of those 4-minute drill kind of situations, 3-point lead, and with the ball, Kaiser Helterbrand ran it 8 straight times to finish the game out. On second down, over the middle, it is caught, and it is Wyatt Lemoyne, and he is really close to a first down, and a couple of Blue Golds ran into each other hard. It's going to be a first down, Eau Claire, and we got an injured Eau Claire player. That is Noah Nephew. Let's get another look at the pass completion.
Ran into Kanakalis here at the end of this play. Yeah, you never like it, Scott, when there's a shoulder or a back to the helmet, anything involving the head there.
Yeah, 3 players kind of colliding all at once. Helterbrand coming in, he's been terrific. 21 of 24 so far, 307 yards now for the UW-Eau senior quarterback, and good to see this. Noah Nephew running off the field on his own power. Coach Erickson told me he's really one of their vocal leaders in that defensive room. 1.5 sacks coming into this one. Speaking of sacks, Eau Claire came into this one of the top pressure teams in the league. Other than the initial first quarter or so, the UW-Eau offensive line has given Helterbrand a lot of time to throw.
A lot of time, and a lot of quick release passes too, though, just not giving the Blue Golds a chance. And really the Eagles haven't faced a third and long situation where the Blue Golds could send a few extra guys and try to get home.
Yeah, since that first quarter, they had them backed up a couple of times. Here's the handoff. This is Lynch. Lynch breaking free, and he picks up first down yardage, a gain of 12, up to the 37-yard line.
Carried by Gabe Lynch.
Yeah, I expect this O-line to kind of take over the game. It was a really intriguing battle in the first quarter and a half to see who was going to win the line of scrimmage. The Eagles have really started to take over, win more of the battles, and you know, we were down to 8 minutes in the third quarter. I think the Eagles would love to just establish this run game and march right down the field, take a lot of time off the clock.
Two tight ends in for the Eagles, and they give it to WIAC, and he picks up 4 yards off the right side.
And really, Scott, you know, we talked about snowflakes flying today. The longer that this season drags on, the more likely I think you're going to want to run the football, and Eagles really need to establish that. Not that they haven't this season, but this is a great opportunity today, along with the rest of the regular season, to just show how dominant your front five can be.
On second down from the 41. Loose snap picked up by Oye, and he was fortunate to, first of all, to get the ball back, and second of all, to get back to the line of scrimmage. And just to add to your point, Nick, and I'm sure UW-Eau would love to see one of their running backs establish themselves as sort of a go-to guy. I mean, it's been Hildebrand running the ball and leading the team in rushing. UW-Eau out without their top running back, Brent Bowman, who's been out for a few weeks with injury. So it's been Gabe Lynch and Deo Oye carrying the load from the running back position. And I'm sure the Eagles would love to see one of the running backs establish themselves as a go-to person.
You just don't want to put Hildebrand in a position where he might get hit, take a unnecessary pop, you know, when you could hand the ball off to somebody else and let them bulldoze.
There's Tyler Bowman on the reception. He picks up a first down on the pass from Hildebrand up to the 49-yard line.
No urgency here to get up to the line, snap the ball. Eagles content just to let that clock tick. You've got this game well in hand at this point.
Hildebrand asking Lynch to line up directly behind him now on first down. And he takes the handoff. Straight up the middle, short gain that time. Kanalikis in there, along with Malik Johnson wearing number 92.
And if you're the Blue Golds, you know, you're looking for small wins here. A chance to set up a third down and long situation if you can hold here. You know, you'd love another turnover. Just something to kind of spark the sideline. A lot of guys with hands on their hips. I see some helmets, you know, kind of low, bent over. Just, you know, the mojo, the vibe is not very good on the Blue Gold sideline right now.
2nd and 8. Little quick hitter. This is Studer. Breaks free. Picks up first down yardage inside the Eau Claire 40 to the 39. Actually, they'll mark him down at the 40, but that's good enough for a first down, and the drive continues for La Crosse.
Classic Studer. Make a catch, make a guy miss, a couple extra yards.
The league leader in touchdown receiving and yards in the WIAC is having himself quite a day so far.
Yeah, approaching 150 yards, Scott. And as we documented, over 1,000 for the season now.
Handoff up to the middle. This goes to Ethan Wagner-Lang, wearing number 21.
As this game progresses, you know, maybe a chance to get a few more guys in. It is senior day. There's a handful of guys that want to have a great final showing on this field. You know, hopefully a home playoff game still to come. We'll see how the rest of the season shakes out and where the Eagles sit after the WIAC portion of the schedule.
That actually may be Charlie Thompson wearing number 21 today. We were told he was going to get some carries, a freshman from Gurney, Illinois, a player that Coach Janis is really high on. And here's the handoff again. And nowhere to go. The Blue Gold sniffed that one out. Nice job on the outside for that Blue Gold defense.
Yeah, Malik Johnson, a senior, number 92. Great pursuit to the boundary. And here we go. Here's a 3rd and medium, a chance for Eau Claire to get off the field. This defense has been on the field quite a bit this afternoon already.
Eagles 6 of 7 on 3rd down conversions today. They've done very well. Here's Helterbrand with pressure coming inside screen, and it's Bowman with running room. He breaks free, and he's going to go the distance. 36 yards on the scoring strike. Helterbrand to Tyler Bowman.
Breakout game for Bowman today.
His 2nd touchdown of the season, and the Eagles extending their lead.
You know, it's 3rd and medium, but they set up the screen, and look at all the blocking. And Bowman has such good vision, able to make a couple of moves, and he saw the daylight on the right side, and he runs in for another score.
Point after is up and good. And the Eagles now with 49 points. That is a season high for them. And they are in complete control of this one, basically have been since the end of the 2nd quarter.
You have to love how that drive played out. You established the run, you converted a 3rd down, you got another explosive play with this offense. That's what it's going to take to win against River Falls next week. And then if they are able to make the playoffs, that's how you're going to beat some really good teams in Division III football, is running the football, explosive plays, solid defense.
Well, 3:18 to go here in the 3rd quarter, and I know the Eagles and everyone in the nation in Division III going to really keep an eye on that big game next week with River Falls, a couple of top 10 teams with conference title implications. And yeah, this one was set up beautifully. The Tyler Bowman, who you mentioned is kind of having a coming out kind of game today. That's 7 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown coming into this game. Bowman had just 7 catches on the season, so he's matched his season total today. And again, the Eagles dealing with some injuries at wide receiver. One of their star receivers, Ryan Bartol, out, but it seems like it hasn't mattered who's lined up at receiver today for the Eagles. They've been that good.
Yeah, those yards after catch, explosive plays.
Ivan Rubel calls for the fair catch, and so that'll put the ball at the 25-yard line. Let's see if the Blue Golds can kind of regenerate some of that momentum. Boy, folks, if you're just joining us, the Blue Golds almost, I want to say, dominated the 1st quarter. Maybe not quite dominated, but they definitely controlled it. As we get a look at some of their top early plays early on, Rubidou finding Rubel, and then the touchdown here, Rubel going across. They had the UW-Eau defense on their heels for the first about quarter and a half. There's the pitch and catch, Rubidou to Tonsager for a big game. Now back to live action, 1st and 10 from their own 25. Rubidou looking over the middle. It is caught. Trey Fitzgerald, a nice gain of 6 on 1st down. But since then, Nick, it's been trouble trying to find that groove.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to 1st down. Nice gain on 1st down there, but they have struggled to get 4 or 5 yards on 1st down. It sets up 3rd and long ultimately, and that's where this offense does not want to be, is facing 3rd and long, because any team, NFL, high school, college, you're not going to convert a lot of those 3rd and longs.
This is 2nd and 4. They swing it out to Tonsager, looking for some running room. Leans ahead. He's going to be just a tad short of the 1st down. That'll set up a 3rd and short.
They're going to go hurry here.
They hand it off straight up the middle into the pile, and I don't think he got it. Rubel was met in there. Let's see who comes out of there. That's Ben Moore, number 55, who stuffed Rubel short of the 1st down. And on 4th and about half a yard, I think Coach Erickson's going to say, you know what? Considering where we are in this one, let's just go for it. Well, check that. They're going to send out the punting unit. And Matt Janis will counter by telling his defense to simply stay on the field.
These coaches know each other too well.
There's a high snap, goes through the hands of Zuli. He's got to track it down, and he's going to be brought down at the 5-yard line. A special teams mistake there for the Blue Golds, and I believe that's Ben Moore who got in there again to drop Zuli back at the 6. Just one of those days.
I was saying, they just needed a spark, and just like last week, after a great start early, they just weren't able to find any plays to turn the momentum back in their favor, the Blue Golds, and kind of playing out the same way today. But you're looking for small wins here, anything you can get. Maybe this is just a field goal attempt instead of a touchdown, right? If you're going to turn the program around, this is how it starts, is small victories.
Zach Weir now in at quarterback for the Eagles. WIAC is next to him at running back. And on first down, they fake the handoff. Weir's going to throw. Had the receiver open. Overthrew Rakovic, who had a chance to pick up his second touchdown, and Weir is beside himself. Zach Weir, interesting story. He's a transfer from Eastern Illinois, a football championship series school, Division I AA, for those of you who remember back in the day. Terrific arm. 6 touchdown passes, no interceptions. He's completed 76% of his passes on the season. He is the heir apparent, I want to say, for next year. And he has been brilliant playing with and subbing for Helterbrand this season. Oye gets stuffed on the run to the outside. A loss of a yard.
And you mentioned it. They used those 2 quarterbacks against Whitewater. Obviously got the huge win there. Michael McGuire is kind of the brainchild behind that 2-quarterback system. And maybe this is something that they'll go to a little bit more down the stretch here, especially if they get to the playoffs. Just a different look for teams on a short week to prepare for.
It's definitely something other teams will have to watch out for. I was talking to Weir a couple of weeks ago. I said, when you guys are together, what's that like? He said, well, it's kind of funny. Keisler and I kind of laughed when you hear the other defense call 2 quarterbacks, and they kind of chuckle at it. 3rd and goal. Weir to the end zone. Well guarded that time was Dustin Schultz over the middle. And there's that stop you were looking for, Nick. A little bit of momentum, a little bit of something to show for the effort there, and a job well done by the Blue Gold defense after the special teams turnover. So that'll send in the field goal unit, and it looks like we have Maddox Pratt, number 46, a freshman from Hartford, in to attempt this short little field goal.
25 yards. Wind is still kind of swirling, just a little breeze coming toward the kicker's face.
Pratt boots it up, and this one is good. So the Eagles add 3 after the special teams turnover. 52-14 now, 43 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Well, UW-Eau will be keeping a close eye on some other games around the conference, specifically that River Falls game, in which they will play next week. And River Falls is at UW-Stout today. And Nick, I know you follow UW-Stout closely, and they have a high-powered offense, don't they?
They sure do. New quarterback running it, Mitch Wechter, this year. But, the Blue Devils can air it out. They came down to La Crosse, and it was a little bit of a shootout here, Scott. 45-40. Eagles won that one. Stout, they play teams tough, and it's usually a lot of close games. They don't get blown out a lot. So we'll see what River Falls. I've had a chance to see the Falcons in person, too, and that offense is very impressive, that air attack especially.
Yeah, their quarterback is sensational. You mentioned it earlier. This whole conference is just loaded with great quarterbacks. You have Berghammer over at Oshkosh, Ogden at Whitewater, Blaha over at River Falls, and Wechter over at Stout. I mean, the quarterback crew here is just unbelievable in this conference, and you have a scoring update for us on that River Falls Stout game.
Yeah, right now Falcons lead the Blue Devils 14-6, final seconds of the 1st quarter. So good start for River Falls on the road.
Back here at Herring Stadium, Rubel on the return, finds some space and makes it up to about the 27-yard line. And that's where the Blue Golds will start.
We talked about small victories on defense, small victories on offense here too. Just get a first down. Just get this offense in rhythm. They haven't had a a lot of opportunities to sustain drives, and we saw it earlier in the game, right, where you could get positive yardage, 4, 5, 6 yards on first down. That gives this offense just a chance at third down and an ability to just sustain the drive, move the football, Scott. They haven't been able to do that really since the first quarter.
They toss it out to Antoine, and he just gets absolutely pasted on the near sideline, and that is Bryson Majeur with the tackle. And a loss of yard on that catch by David Antoine. Here's another look at it. Majeur had this one read from the start.
You know, this Eagles defense kind of keying in on the short horizontal passes, the handoff, you know, right up the gut, just plays that are happening within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. The Blue Golds would love to maybe to take a shot and spread them out a little bit.
That'll do it. 3/4 of play in the books. Eagles lead it 52-14. We'll be back. Welcome back to Herring Stadium with Grandad Bluff serving as the backdrop here, and UW-La Crosse leading this one in firm control, leading this one 52-14.
Congratulations, and that concludes the UW Credit Union Piggy Bank race.
You know, I talked about time of possession, 25.5 minutes for the Eagles. They average 34 a game, and you know, they just shorten the game and they limit your possessions as the opponent. And we talked about the Blue Golds not able to sustain drives. Even if this was a tighter game, you're just not going to get that many cracks at the Eagles.
Here's a pick interception by the Eagles. That one off the hands of Garside, and let's see who got it. It was Bryson Majeur coming up with the interception. He made the big hit a moment ago, and the sophomore from Maple, Minnesota, with his first interception of the season.
Well, the fumbles seem to have gone La Crosse's way, and now the tip passes as well. Ball was thrown a little bit behind, and great play to move the hands over and grab it right away for the pick.
So 1st and 10 Eagles.
First down Eagles at the 25.
From the 25-yard line of Eau Claire. Second possession in a row. They've started deep in Eau Claire territory. They toss it outside. It's Butcher on the catch, and he is wrestled down after a gain of 9 down to the 16-yard line.
We talked about turnover battle, and that was going to be key. Steal a couple possessions for the Blue Golds. You know, they've given away a few possessions now, and I understand that a lot of things are going against them right now in this game, especially when you look at the scoreboard, but the turnover's not helping.
2nd and 1. Here's WIAC testing the right side of the line. He has first down yardage inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. That'll set up a 1st and goal.
WIAC with the carry.
Blue Golds talk a lot about playing for pride, representing the university, and you know, they have a rivalry game coming up next week. They got UW-Stout at home. That's the War on 94.
Yeah.
And so, you know, a rivalry game this week, and there's still a lot to play for next week. You know, senior day and final time at Carson Park. Blue Golds are going to, I just don't think they know that they haven't played well today, especially, you know, the last 3 quarters of the game, but a chance to turn it around.
WIAC to about the 4-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal. WIAC now with 10 carries for 46 yards in this one.
Tackle. 2nd and goal.
And we may have seen our last of Kaiser Helterbrand on offense. With the score being what it is, really no need to put him in harm's way.
Second and goal from the 5 for the Eagles. WIAC gets across the goal line for the touchdown. WIAC carrying it across for the Eagles. That's his first touchdown of the season. And the Eagles extending their lead.
Boy, that has to feel good, right, Scott? Just a powerful physical run here to get your first score. Waltersdorf met him, and he just ran right over him.
Maddox Pratt back in to attempt the point after. And this one's up and good. 59-14 is the score. The Eagles leading this one. 12:53 to go. We'll be back after a short timeout.
A strong priority. I also like to thank our preferred apparel sponsors, BSN Sports.
Yeah, the Eagles have had their way here since the second quarter after the hot start from Eau Claire. Trailed. It's hard to imagine La Crosse trailed 14-7 at one point, but 52 unanswered points for the Eagles, showing why they're the fourth-ranked team in the nation.
Yeah, they scored 51 last year up at Carson Park. 59-14. I believe that's the largest point total for the Eagles against the Blue Golds since 1997. They put 55 up on the board in 97.
Rubel on the return. Finds some yardage up to about the 23-yard line.
And in this age, Scott, of rankings and polls and the eye test with a lot of the national media, this is a statement. This is a chance for the Eagles to put up a statement, especially with what we know is looming next week, that trip to River Falls. The nation, certainly the Midwest, Wisconsin, knows just how strong this Eagles team is.
First and 10 for the Blue Golds.
Yeah, football, you're almost guaranteed, fourth.
Roubidou looking deep. Major on the coverage. Oh, a sensational catch along the far sideline. That is Tonsager with good coverage that time, but Landon Tonsager with a terrific catch. Take another look at this.
He is a spark for this offense, and they need someone to complement Isaac Garside. And just a great catch to adjust on the fly there, go down and get it. And I talked about how he finishes so strong, too. He just needs to be a little bit more consistent. He's a freshman, still learning a lot about the offense, and I think he can be a real game changer, though, for this Blue Golds team.
That's his 8th catch of the game. Here's Rubel through a hole. Rubel near first down yardage. Let's give him 8 to the 39-yard line. You know, you mentioned the 59 points La Crosse has scored here today. Still 12 minutes left in this one. The Eagles in conference so far, 4-0 coming into this one. All 4 of those games have been one-score games. Nail-biters down to the end. So I'm sure Coach Janis and the coaching staff and the players, too, relieved a little bit to have kind of a breather here today.
Right, because you would expect next week to be another nail-biter when you have 2 top 10 teams squaring off, River Falls and La Crosse. Falcons game update. It is now tied at 14 in the second quarter. Stout and River Falls tied at 14.
They don't have triple XL, you know.
You mentioned the 59 points too, Nick. Most since 1997. And now the 59 we find out is the most points for UW-Eau against Eau Claire in school history.
I'm just saying something, right? I mean, we've been having this game for 90 years.
Flag on the play here. Haven't seen too many of those, but we may get a false start on Eau Claire.
Offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Might be a product, Scott, of you're shuffling a lot of different linemen in and out, and maybe guys that just don't get a lot of work together, especially during the week at practice.
Yeah, that offensive line, if you're just joining us, they've had 3 guys go down in and out of the lineup, and this was on top of having a bunch of injuries on that offensive line coming into this game. So Rob Erickson has had his work cut out for him as head coach, juggling that offensive line. Roubidou with a nice fire to Tonsager, his 8th catch of the season. That'll get the penalty yardage back and maybe a little bit more and set up a 2nd and 9.
Love to see the Blue Golds take a shot deep. You know, I mentioned earlier, it seems like everything's been within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. Maybe Tonsager's the guy, having a breakout game. You know, Garside, their most explosive, dynamic offensive player. Maybe they take a shot here. Just see what you have.
Garside in the bottom part of your screen. The handoff goes to Rubel. Rubel hit in the backfield and brought down. Landon Oin in there, along with number 43, Boston Brindley, local product from La Crosse Central.
Always great to get the hometown kids in the record or the stat book or on TV here. You know, a lot of the kids grew up watching the game on TV, and you know, it's fun for us to highlight the local players. I'm sure it's fun for them and their families to watch them play here on a big stage on a Saturday morning here.
3rd and 10. Rubidoux looking to dump it off, and that is intercepted. Landon Owen with the pick that time. And once again, looked like the Blue Golds trying to set up a little screen, but the Eagles didn't take the bait. Owen with the interception.
Yeah, just the timing thrown off again. Harry has to double clutch or ultimately throw it before he wants to with the pressure in his face. And credit the Eagles, they're just sitting there waiting for it, making a play.
3rd interception of the day for UW-La Crosse. We'll be back after this short timeout. All right, 1st and 10 Eagles after the interception by Landon Owen. Handoff going straight up the middle for a gain of about 3. And that is Gage Bagley, his first carry of the game, a freshman from Broadhead. Here's another look at the interception.
I got to give a lot of credit to the defensive line creating the pressure, and then, you know, these secondary players, they're taught, right, to be ready for that. They're expecting, they know that screen play is coming, or they recognize it, and then just great hands recognition to secure the pick.
Here's Weir to the outside and picking up a 1st down. Drive will continue. That is Jack Butcher up to the Blue Gold 45-yard line.
Pass complete to Jack Butcher. Eagle 1st down.
Got Tonsager up there, Caden, the freshman, on top of the screen. Just looked like maybe a little bit too far off on the coverage. You got to respect these Eagles receivers. But a nice gain.
From the Blue Gold 45, 1st and 10. Bagley with a handoff off the left side, and Keekley is there with another tackle. Only a gain of a yard that time.
Keekley, the team's leading tackler, he's working on it again today.
9 tackles so far today for the safety, Ryan Keekley. He's been an outstanding player for the Blue Golds, a senior from Mankato, Minnesota.
Under 8 minutes to go. We talked about that 4-minute offense last week against Oshkosh. Not quite 4-minute offense here, but you're just content to run the football, let that clock wind down, and celebrate a big senior day win here.
Bagley up the middle for about 6.
And if you score again, great. You just want to run your offense here, continue to win that line of scrimmage and get these guys some valuable reps. And
well, there's a dynamic here too, Nick. You know, Coach Janis wants to have his good friend Coach Erickson over at his house again, and I'm sure he doesn't want to run it up.
No. I think they're going to be hanging out at somebody's house regardless here coming up. And now they're a little bit closer, right? Erickson came from South Dakota State.
Right.
So now it's only an hour-and-a-half drive between the houses. I'm sure they're going to get together. But, yes, I mean, Coach Erickson's probably very frustrated regardless of the score here. You know, his team has not executed very well today. Some penalties, the turnovers, obviously. So I don't know if the score is really going to matter. I know Coach Erickson's already got a long list of things he wants to improve on for next week.
Well, the good thing about what I really liked when I visited with Coach Erickson, he knows what winning looks like. An assistant coach at South Dakota State. They won the FCS national title last year. They were the runner-up in 2021. On 4th down, the Eagles going for it. Thompson's going to be stopped short that time by the Blue Golds, so they'll take over. A little bit of something to hang their hat on there, stopping that Eagles drive. But, you know, Coach Erickson also knows the WIAC, an assistant at Whitewater, and we talked earlier about his days as an assistant at UW-Platteville. So he knows what championship football looks like, and he's just building the foundation right now, just trying to get things laid out for the Blue Golds down the road.
And the future looks bright. They're very high on this first recruiting class that they've been able to acquire so far. Work's not done, obviously. New facility coming, the Sonnentag complex. It's going to be an indoor 100-yard turf facility, weight room attached. You know, so the buildings, the the amenities at Eau Claire are on the rise, and they're really excited for who they think they can recruit to come to Eau Claire, and then obviously build on the depth that they've already started to acquire here.
6 minutes to go now, fourth quarter. Just a reminder, stand by for more college football. After this one, we'll have BYU at Texas, and then later tonight, Colorado and UCLA right here on WQOW 18 in Eau Claire and WXOW 19 in La Crosse. That pass intended for Tonsager off his fingertips.
One of the big takeaways for the offense is Tonsager. I think he's really proving himself to be a reliable target. He can be a difference maker, an explosive player for this offense. So, just a freshman, still learning a lot. But they've really found something in him, I think, that they can build on.
Robidoux, 17 of 28 so far. Those 3 interceptions for 131 yards.
If you're inside between the hashes, you drop it.
Lost the handle on the handoff, and then Rubel is stopped in the backfield on 3rd and 2. Little miscue for the Blue Golds that time, and the Eagles come up with a stop. Set up a 4th and 3.
I'm not sure if they're going to punt this ball, aren't they?
And another injury, and is that Rubel down for the Blue Golds? Here's another look at it. It is Ivan Rubel.
Yeah, he's had some tough runs today. All season, he's been a really tough runner. Yeah, maybe that right knee, right lower leg.
That was just one of those plays where you just get crunched. You're kind of at the bottom of the pile, and you kind of feel helpless. I've been there. A real long time ago, but I've been there. So at 5:27 to go in this ball game, and we talked a lot about Rob Erickson, and how about the job Matt Janis has done here at UW-La Crosse in his 3rd season, 24-6 record. Lake Zurich, Illinois native. He inherited a great position. He came here to La Crosse to be Mike Schmidt's defensive coordinator. And then when Schmidt left La Crosse to become the head coach at Division II Northern State, Matt Janis was a natural transition to be the head coach. And we talked about his days at Platteville. Mike Schmidt was at Platteville too. I think Platteville's got this unbelievable coaching tree here in the WIAC and beyond, as you get to look at Ivan Rubel, and you don't want to see that, not even being able to put any weight on his left foot, especially with that big rivalry game coming up next week.
And he is the run game for Eau Claire, and so they've already lost, one option at running back, a couple injuries early in the season, and yeah, that's the last thing you want to see is your primary running back. And the Blue Golds want to run the ball. And it's been a struggle, that's for sure, all season. But that's the identity they want to have. They want to be able to run the football.
Zuli to punt. Nobody back to return for the Eagles. And they'll let this one roll to about the 16-yard line. And that's where the Eagles will scrimmage, 1st and 10, with just over 5 minutes to go in this one. Eagles getting a look at some backup players here today with the big lead at 59-14.
These are valuable reps. You hear coaches talk a lot about just, the postseason provides more opportunities to practice, get these young guys reps. We haven't touched on this today, but the Eagles went across the pond. They went to Italy, and that was a chance to have quite a few practices over the offseason. That all matters when it comes to the end of the season, big games like next week against River Falls, or when you get to the NCAA postseason.
Weir fakes the handoff, tosses it out to Butcher, and he has it for a gain of 6 yards. You mentioned the trip to Italy, very valuable experience. Talk about a wonderful field trip. They also went on a lot of excursions and learned a lot about the culture and some of the history over there overseas, and were able to participate in some scrimmages over there, as they call them. They couldn't call them games. There were scrimmages against some teams over in Italy. So those are invaluable reps, as you mentioned.
I had to chuckle, though. I watched one of your reports on WXOW, and you interviewed one of the players, and I won't call him out here, but he said he preferred Olive Garden to the Italian food that they had.
Well, there's Colin O'Neill with his first carry of the game, a freshman running back from Cashton. And I'm sure he's proud of his Cashton Eagles and how well they're doing in the Division 7 playoffs. They're going to have a little rematch with Bangor next week, Friday, at Level 3. And that's kind of the fun part about doing these games. You see some of these local stars move on and to bigger things in the college level. And I know you see it up there in the Eau Claire area as well.
Yeah, a couple of them on the field here this afternoon. You know, Chippewa Falls, North, Regis, Ellsworth. It's great to see the kids on the field here, and we're able to show them on WQW, WXW.
First down run there for O'Neill as we come to about 3.5 minutes to go in this one.
I think the play calling is pretty straightforward here. We're going to run the football, keep that clock moving, give these younger guys a chance to, you know, make a statement for themselves, be part of this big win here on Senior Day. This matters. You know, your backups are going against Eau Claire's backups, and this is still a fight.
Not much doing on that first down run. It gave about 4. You know, going forward, though, Nick, injuries will play a big role for both these teams. We've already spoken a lot about the stuff that's happening on the Eau Claire offensive line and all the mixing and matching they've had to do up there. And the Eagles have had to deal with some injuries as well, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. And now you have to wonder if their star center, Noah Coleman, the senior, what his availability is going to be down the road. I see him right now on the sideline on crutches, and that would be a big loss for the Eagles going forward, too, on their offensive line. So that's something to monitor as well. 2nd and 6. Straight handoff up the middle to O'Neill, and he falls forward for about 3 more. That'll set up a 3rd down.
Probably one more first down will end it. I don't know if Erickson is going to use any timeouts here, given the injury situation and the score. Might just be content, both sides, just to run this out and walk off the field. Get ready for next week.
Now we're rolling. Oh, he's going to throw one deep, and it's intercepted. Picked off that time for the Blue Golds. Caden Tonsager, Landon's twin brother, coming up with the interception, and the Blue Golds will take over with 1:41 to go. Well, the Tonsagers have something to hang their hat on here today, and looking forward, the freshman twins.
3rd pick of the season, and nice play on the ball. Saw it was underthrown a little bit from where the Eagles wanted it. Made a nice play, boxed out the receiver, so he had the best chance at it. Nice play.
New quarterback for the Eagles. For the Blue Golds.
Yeah, Quinn Faust, sophomore. He made 1 start. Rubidoux was hurt early in the non-conference portion of the season. Can throw a nice ball. Still young, though. He's thrown a handful of interceptions here. And Coach Erickson, though, believes in him. Says we can win with him. Good opportunity for him to maybe... We'll see if they end up throwing the ball or not. But
and we saw Colin Badet with his first carry of the day as well. Yeah, Quinn Faust, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on the year. Coach Erickson was telling me, you know, a little smaller than Harry Rubidoux, but an outstanding athlete and can really make some plays and make things happen. 2nd and 4. Oh, here's a high snap. Faust has to run back and get it, and he'll just recover it right there back at the 25-yard line. Under a minute to go.
And they've used him throughout the season. He'll come in for 1 series in the middle of the game, just a different look. They've done some different, wildcat formations as well with some of the running backs. And, there's a lot of evaluating going on with the Blue Golds right now. What do you have? What can you build on with this offense? You're probably starting to look at next year a little bit more, obviously, getting to the final 3 weeks of the season.
This may be the final play of the game with 20 seconds to go. The handoff up the middle to Baudette, and he gets smothered at the 28-yard line, and the clock will tick off with 12 seconds to go. And we're going to call it a day here at Herring Stadium. UW-La Crosse, 52 unanswered points after falling behind 14-7. 59-14 is your final. The Eagles will stay undefeated in conference play at 4-0. And the Blue Golds moving on to that big rivalry game against Stout. We'll take a timeout and return here to Herring Stadium right after this short message. Eagles win it big. Evan Hong standing by with UWL head coach Matt Janis.
All right, I'm here alongside Eagles head coach Matt Janis. Coach, this is 6 straight wins for you guys against UW-Eau Claire. How does this one feel, even with Coach Erickson on the other side?
Yeah, obviously a little different with him on the sidelines and kind of talking with him before the game and then just talking to him now. So definitely a different feeling. Definitely makes this game more, I guess, personal. For not in a bad way, just more personal. But yeah, no, I mean it's a WIAC win. I mean, what more do you want? I mean, Saturday afternoons like these, this is my passion. Like I love this. I love the environment. I love the game plan that Eau Claire had, especially with their offense early on. I told our guys we were going to have to work, especially in kind of the first half, and I'm really proud of our guys for settling into that game. And then obviously pretty cool when you get a lot of guys their first, college snaps as the game went on. And, as you get in the second half, we saw a lot of guys, a lot of freshmen playing for the first time. So kind of cool to see the smiles on their face. They get to go on the field.
59 points, season high for you guys by far. What, in your eyes, makes this offense so special?
I think number 2, our quarterback, I think he's a pretty special player. Obviously, when some stuff broke down, he's able to make some plays with his legs and just extend plays, and then continues to find a way to get the ball to number 20 and get the ball to Jack Studer and continue to find ways to put the ball in that guy's hands, whether it's, just simple RPO out routes that he takes a 5-yard catch and he makes it 10, or he has a big play over the top with the post at the end of the first half. Just got some pretty special players on offense.
Couple games left in the WIAC season now. What's the message to these guys with the season starting to wind down here?
Well, I think they know what's ahead of them. I think they know what's coming this week now. Obviously they get the night, the day to kind of celebrate this, but they know what's happening. They know what the next game is going to bring. We know it's going to be a really good opponent, so that's really it. It's just focusing on, hey, River Falls now.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Great win. Thanks. Back up to you guys.
All right, Evan, thanks very much. We'll step aside and hear some more from our sponsors and be back here at Herring Stadium to wrap things up. Welcome back to Herring Stadium. Scott Emmerich along with Nick Tabbert. The Eagles have just beaten UW-Eau Claire 59-14. Let's show you how they got it done. And actually, it was the Blue Golds jumping out in front early on.
Yeah, they came to play early. Rubel with the touchdown, set up, though, by a lot of positive yardage on first down, made it easier.
Eagles answered with Gabe Lynch with a touchdown, but then Eau Claire, early second quarter, got things going again. Isaac Garside from Rubidoux.
Nice pass, timing route. Garside is so explosive when he's open.
That seemed to serve as a wake-up call for the Eagles because they just turned it on from there. The deep ball was huge for them today.
Yeah, the explosive plays on the offense, giving Kaiser Helterbrand time to find his guys.
That's Wyatt Lemoyne on a 55-yard touchdown pass. The defense coming up big for the Eagles, too. Sniffing out the screen, Shane Lang, a pick 6.
Yeah, maybe the play of the game to really turn the momentum in the Eagles' favor. They never gave it back.
And then on a 4th and goal, Dryden Schaefer. I know his daddy would be proud. His daddy, Derek, a terrific receiver back in the 90s for the Eagles. And then another long touchdown pass to Jack Studer.
Studer over 1,000 yards receiving on the season today.
5th player in school history to do that. Marko Rajkovic, the touchdown pass from Helterbrand. Helterbrand, by the way, career highs in completions with 24, attempts with 27, yards with 360, and touchdowns with 5. There's number 5 to Tyler Bowman.
Bowman with a breakout game. The Spring Valley kid really showing out.
And then the field goal from Pratt to make it 52-14. Blue Golds trying to get a little something going here, but another interception, this one from Landon Oin.
Disrupting those screen plays, and the defensive backs were ready, the linebackers ready to catch those.
And a final touchdown, interception from the Blue Golds That one from Caden Tonsanger. It was a good game for the Tonsanger family. The Blue Golds can at least hang their head on that.
Sure can. The future's bright with those two in Eau Claire.
All right. Well, the immediate future bright for the Eagles as they wait a big showdown with River Falls coming up next week. River Falls is in action right now against UW-Stout. That game will have conference title implications. The Blue Golds have that big rivalry, the I-94 war on I-94.
Yeah, with Stout. Right now, River Falls and Stout tied at 21 near halftime, so we'll have to see how this plays out. And like you mentioned, WIAC title implications. Senior day for the Blue Golds at home next week, along with the trophy game. They'd love to get that trophy back. It's been quite a while.
Nick, it's been great working with you again. Another year in the books for our Lacrosse-Eau Claire rivalry. On behalf of our director, Steve Bland, and his outstanding crew who've battled the elements out there in the cold and a few snowflakes as well, thanks so much for joining us on WQOW 18 in Eau Claire and WXOW 19 in La Crosse. BYU and Texas coming your way next. We're going to send it back to ABC's coverage of college football. Thanks for joining us, everyone.